Radio is taking over ESPN News. You can now watch your favorite radio shows all in one place. From Golic and Wingo.
Oh, yeah.
To the Dan Levitard Show with Stu Dots.
All right, I'm available every day. Thanks.
To the Stephen A. Smith Show.
I just don't understand this guy.
To the Will Kane Show.
It's my job to tell the truth.
From morning to night, the best of ESPN Radio is now available on ESPN News.
When working at a growing business, you wear many hats. The new business hat, the buying toner for the copy machine hat, the sifting through tons of resumes hat. You can throw away that last hat thanks to Indeed.com. When posting your job, Indeed lets you add screener questions that give you a less time-consuming route to your short list of qualified candidates. So go ahead, dust off that extra-long lunch hat. Hiring's better when you've got your short list. Save time on hiring when you post a job on Indeed. Get started today at Indeed.com/hire.
This is Pensacola's hometown all-sports station and home of the Blue Wahoos, ESPN Pensacola 945. Catch all the Wahoos games home and away all season, plus all the latest Wahoos news from Chad Brilliante on the Sports Drive, 5 till game time weeknights. And hey, if your business would like to partner with us as an advertiser or with a local sports promotion, then give us a call at 850-262-6000 or shoot us an email from the advertise page on ESPNpensacola.com.
Throws up the middle. At the 40. Derek Brooks 30. Brooks to the 25. He's good. Derek Brooks all the way. Touchdown Tampa Bay. Derek Brooks. The dagger's in. We're going to win the Super Bowl.
Another Watson is wearing a green jacket, and this time his name is Bubba.
Pitch on the way. Russell drives one in the air. Deep left center. That's back near the wall. It's got a chance. Grand slam. Grand slam, Addison Russell.
The new WBA heavyweight champion of the world, Roy Jones Jr.
And Richardson breaks free on the sideline. End zone. Power bomb down. Bama scores on a 34-yard touchdown run by the Doak Walker Award winner, Trick Richardson, who broke a lot of Emmett Smith's records back in Pensacola, Florida.
And these them Louisiana, Pensacola guys, they looking crazy and all that.
Morris, blocked by the tight end Paul. That opens up the door. Breaking the coverage tackle. To the pylon. Touchdown.
Really nice effort there by Alfred Morris, extending that ball over the goal line.
Near side ball is that big game. Doug Baldwin's got a first down. Doug Baldwin, 93 yards, now has back-to-back 1,000-yard seasons. Reggie Evans, and he's going to get an ovation. Guy from Pensacola, Florida.
And welcome into the Sports Drive right here on ESPN Pensacola 945 and on Blab TV. I am Chad Brilliante. Glad to be with you here as always as we broadcast on this Wednesday. A lot to get to on today's show as we will talk with legendary Alabama coach Gene Stallings from his Paris, Texas ranch. Having a little fun as always this week in Paris as well. The Paris Hotel in Vegas. Guy cashed in a $100,000.
Yeah. Oh, not that Paris.
No, a little different.
Okay.
I don't think if he would have gone to Paris, Texas, and asked to get to the sports
book. That Paris is more of a yes, sir.
Yes,
yeah,
not
right.
Too much over there. And you get to hang out with Gene on his ranch. That's worth more than 100 G's to me. But well, for a day, I don't know. I'd rather have the cash. I love Gene to death, but I would probably take the cash. Right. Looking at down to 6 in Omaha after Auburn losing today, they resume the game in which is not a dome stadium at Rosenblatt. We're over this, by the way. We're going to move on here. Obviously, as yesterday, the game gets postponed. Never was made up during the day. It was suspended until today. And the Auburn Tigers down 4-1, couldn't make it back up, losing 5-3 to a very tough Louisville team throughout the year in the ACC. And they have been eliminated now with Arkansas. So 2 teams eliminated down to 6, and after a game or two today, we will be done. But right now, Vanderbilt, sorry about that, I just crushed the table right there. Just my knee.
Was that
I'm
your
okay.
toe?
No, that's my knee right
Okay.
there. But the whole table just shook right there. Having some fun today. It's a danger zone. You brought in some sizzling bacon seeds today.
I did.
And
Yeah.
it's a mixture. It's a combination. It's like cracked pepper.
Yeah, I saw these in the store right here and there. I'm going to cover up the brand name so we don't give it
That's
shout
okay.
outs,
I'm not that worried.
Anyways, the sizzling bacon, and I was like, I've never seen those before with sunflower seeds.
Yeah.
Turns out if you've had the barbecue Frito-Lay sunflower seeds, you've had those.
You're giving our show way too much credit on TV that somebody's going to see that brand and have to be like, I'm just saying, if I see a guy walking around with sizzling bacon seeds from that brand, then I would have to give him a high five.
Yeah.
And they're like, I don't know who this guy is. But be like, there's no way we're going to go that far. Product placement's one thing. The only product placement here on the table is clearly this deflated football that everybody has to see every day in the Patriots, which yesterday was looked at as a violation of radio. Looking at some of the things that we've talked about, though, we're down to 6. Vanderbilt currently with the lead. It is 6-3 in the top of the 8th inning against Mississippi State. So a good game going on right now. Mississippi State came back once and got the victory against Auburn, seeing if they can do it again. They were down. Kumar Rocker was just not as good as his, I guess, when you set the bar at 19 strikeouts and a no-hitter, it doesn't get much better than that. But he's come out in fuego again today and looking good. Vanderbilt, though, is struggled recently in the late innings. Mississippi State's added a few, but currently sitting here 6-3. And this is a game right now where it is a winner's bracket game. So either of these teams are not going home. But it looks like Vanderbilt, our pick at the beginning, looking strong right now.
Yeah, they're looking really good. And I'll tell you who's still not looking that great is that Auburn defense. Auburn's defense has just been letting them down so far in Omaha, and we saw it today, and it cost them a couple more runs as they had a situation to where Louisville had some runners on late in that game earlier today. There's a grounder hit up the middle that probably could have been fielded either by the shortstop or the second baseman. It gets by both of them, goes into center field, and they're able to tack on a couple of extra runs late in that game. Auburn was actually making a comeback in that game. I want to say it was 5-1 or something along those lines, and then Auburn was able to tack on a couple and bring it within a couple of runs there. But again, just that one little play right there by Auburn where they just could not manage to field the ball yet again. Defensive issue causing them problems in this game.
Well, yesterday was the All-Star game for Division or for AA baseball in the Southern League, taking on the South and North, and the North gets a win. They're victorious, but overall, it was a good day. Jalen Davis of Couple Wahoos showed up in a big way, and the Pensacola Blue Wahoos come back here in the second half of the season. Now, they were up for Ballpark of the Year, best Ballpark of the Year in all of AA baseball. And if people don't know how AA baseball works, it pretty much you have your Southern League, you have your Midwest. Well, we don't have to go through every geographical region, but pretty much there are tons of leagues out there. You've got your league up north where you got a lot of teams playing in it with the teams like the Boston Red Sox. You got the Pawtucket, the Sea Dogs out there, a couple big teams that are playing up in the New England League. There's leagues all over, but when it comes down to the best overall, the best in America, the Wahoos lost by 1%. So if you saw the ad or the campaign, because we put it on our website a couple times, to vote for the best ballpark in AA. Now, this wasn't one of these kind of votes where anybody gets to vote. You know what I'm saying? You have a certain amount of teams that get nominated, and then when it gets down to the Elite Eight, the semifinals, that's when the vote takes place. But not just some bozo sitting in his mom's basement just triple-clicking all day.
Right.
Finding a bunch of IP addresses like, they think they can stop me on one? I work at Best Buy. But when it comes down to this AA affiliate, they lost by 1%. 51% to the Amarillo Sod Poodles. So we lost to the Sod Poodles by 1 out of Texas. They do everything a little bigger in Texas, and apparently by 1% in this matter.
I'm still just trying to figure out what a sod poodle is. I
was thinking a poodle that was bathing.
All right, I'm gonna pull
or a dog that likes to do yard work in the summer. I don't know. Works on the farm out there. I'm a sod poodle. I think you're overthinking this. I think it's a dog that has a hat.
It's an armadillo.
That's what a sod poodle is. This a nickname here?
I guess, yeah.
Clearly not from Texas. Is JC still in the building here?
It's some kind of rodent or armadillo type thing. That's what it looks like, yeah.
Well, during the break, if JC Wilson's still in the building, we got to get him in here.
Yeah.
Because he is our Texas correspondent, which is probably, he's like, well, that's pretty stupid. I'm just the guy from Texas. But he is our correspondent, so we'll get him in here to make sure. A sod poodle. Well, look, you learn something every day. I'm going to ask Gene Stallings that now. Perfect time to ask Gene Stallings, a Texas native, that if he knew it was a sod poodle.
The nickname is Soddies.
That's right.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, now we're even going deeper. So the nickname has a nickname.
Yeah.
Okay, there we go. 51 to 49%. Still one of the top two.
Right.
You know, I'm not taking Ricky Bobby's dad. If you ain't first, you're last. We're not buying this. We still were one of the best. Is that their stadium?
Well, that's their stadium while it's being built. I'm trying to
That's not a fair reason. Like if they showed the grounds at Community Maritime Park with a bunch of Caterpillar tractors out there, that doesn't give us any justice. No, see this is a fraudulent pick though. You're looking at a picture right now of like a sunset and like kids eating snacks. So that's not fair.
I mean,
that's not fair for anyone.
It's an okay stadium. I wouldn't say it's better than Blue Wahoo Stadium, but it's all right.
That's pretty nice.
Yeah. Looks like they got the fake AstroTurf out there.
Might have paid somebody off. Looking at the that's where we're going. Ballpark Digest, in quotes, we may or may have not received cash. Looking at some of the other things locally here, Kristen Dorsey, congratulations, Gulf Breezes' own UWF women's golf coach. And she actually played at Kansas State.
Yeah.
So has a chance to get out there. And coming up in the next hour, Jordan's going to do a brief history on Kansas State women's golf.
Absolutely.
When it comes back to Mike Conley, he was traded to the Utah Jazz for a bunch of guys who look like they should still play for the Utah Jazz in Kyle Korver and Grayson Allen, but they're gone, and he is headed out there. It's a good move. Look, Utah is a team that they have a bunch of guys in like the EA Sports games that are rated like 89, 90s.
Right.
But they don't have any of the 97, 98s. They don't make the 99s. There's no Enfuego guy. Like Shaq had like nasty ratings back in the day, but it was almost unfair. He could just dunk it in your face every play.
Yeah.
But the difference was if you got fouled or a jump shot, it was like a 0, so it took his rating down. A lot of these guys on Utah, Donovan Mitchell's their best player. Rudy Gobert's good, but he's not like a nasty physical guy. He's just real tall and from France. And then you've got guys like what we've seen in a guy like Ricky Rubio, who shows up once in a while when he's healthy. Guys like a Derek Favors, who is serviceable. So they've got a number of guys around there. Joe Ingles, one of my favorite guys to watch. He's like your typical guy that you see in a pickup gym that's a little bit taller than you, but he does everything good. He doesn't do one thing great, once again, but he passes around. They need a Mike Conley if he wants to play. Mike Conley has, to me, and I'm not going to lie, he's taken the status of, I'm going to try what I want to try.
Yeah.
Memphis has had this has been a complete disgrace, their roster in the last couple of years. It's like they've shuffled up more people. It's like 52-car pickup. You remember that game that nobody's actually a game, but like somebody's drunk at a fraternity party and they're like, 50, here's a game, you want to play? And you're like, yeah, I'll play a card game. 52-car pickup. And then they throw it out there and you're like, bro, dude, I have a date. This is embarrassing here.
Yeah.
You know, but when you talk about the Utah Jazz roster, they're a lot better than Memphis. Memphis is just, they looked good at one point. Then the next year, everybody's gone. Their whole team's hurt. They spend $99 million, it seems like, for Chandler Parsons. Their whole team is just in chaos. And this trade's not going to help them. If they want to free some salary cap, it will. But they're not going to spend the big bucks to go after some of the heavy hitters in that market. And you got Mike Conley moving. Does it make, in your mind, though, the Jazz a contender? They were already in one of the top 3 or 4 spots in the West. Does this push them to the next level?
I think it helps them, but I don't think it pushes them to the next level. No.
I would agree. It doesn't need any more time than that.
Yeah.
Brett Favre on Instagram, it was hacked, by the way. He is not returning. He's hanging out on a back of a truck bed right now in real comfortable jeans. He's not going to be coming back in 2020. Now, the only reason that this worked, somebody hacked his Instagram, by the way. The only reason this worked, and what is he? He's probably like 47 now, right?
Probably, yeah.
Time flies way too quick. You know, somebody yesterday was like, the 30th anniversary of Jurassic Park. And I'm like, what? Nah. And I don't think it might have been like 25th. I don't know. What year was it Jurassic Park? It would have had to be 89 for that to be factual. But then it was 92, right? 91, 92?
See, Jurassic Park
93?
was released in 93.
Okay,
yeah.
so like 27th anniversary. off by, I was rounding up. But I was 7 when I saw that movie. And it feels like yesterday when that lawyer got eaten off the toilet and that.
Brett Favre is 49.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
It seems like he played until he was like 40, 42.
Yeah.
But he's been out of the league for a very long time. He opened up about dealing with the situation when he was at Southern Miss and his days of playing. He's always been a competitor. He's one of those kind of quarterbacks that you expect. There are a certain amount of quarterbacks when they come out and they say they've dealt with a lot of hits and pain. Brett Favre is one of them. Brett Favre and Steve Young are two guys like, I can see that because they would go right. John Elway probably. John Elway's tough and he looks like maybe he's fooling us in those sweet suits with the little lapel. Any guy that wears the little, he has the lapel.
He's got like a stick in the back to hold him up.
He's
So
got the
like,
pocket square. The guys that wear a pocket square, like you have. I feel like if you, on a daily basis for work, wear a pocket square, you are representing to the world that you have a more sophisticated job than us. Would that be fair?
Either that or you're just a phrase I can't say on the air. Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah.
Either way. But if you walk to work, because I had a suit on earlier today. Today my toe was hurting, not to say that anything to do with my wardrobe, but I went home and changed into an outfit. Get ready for the show. Just, we can calm down. We don't need to do anything over the top. But I had a suit on earlier today. Would never think of going with the lapel. As the Italian I am, and the dirty Italian, I'm not going to go with the tie either, going with the buttons and the fist pump. But when it comes down to a lapel, when you're going with the pocket square, that's unless it's a wedding or you are a Baptist, Southern Baptist preacher. If you're either or, then you have the right to do that. But it's getting hot in here. Give me that, because it's always there. Whew.
Right.
Yeah. The AC could be at like 73. Oh, it's hot. Oh, feeling it hot, and be like, I think it's freezing here. I have a jacket, but that's the only way that you should have that, the pocket square. Moving on here to, you'll see some people tomorrow. Let's do that. Now that we have this out in the blue, and everybody's heard this at pretty much drive time of our show, not like usually we throw these out at 6:30, but tomorrow during the NBA draft, your task, your homework, Jordan, count how many pocket squares for the suits. Okay. Because those guys are clearly saying that their draft pick is bigger than the other one.
Right.
They're clearly stating. Like the Pepto-Bismol Kyler Murray suit.
Zion's just going to try to outdo them all. He's going to have a whole roll of paper towels in his. Instead of just one little napkin square, he's just going to have them all in there.
Well, look, you're going to the Pelicans. Why not make a something that people will remember for the next 50 years?
Have wings coming out of the pocket.
Dress as a Pelican. I'm just saying, like a full Pelican suit.
Do we still have the scoop costume from the Pensacola Pelicans? We can let him borrow that.
Right.
Yeah.
And come down on wires. They would let him. Just see. And with the first pick.
Accidentally knocked Adam Silver over.
Adam Silver. Yeah. Well, Adam Silver would fly with him as Nosferatu, the vampire.
That's true.
He is gravitating, folks. Yeah. But Adam Silver makes the call, and all of a sudden you see this guy flying from the top rafter. A couple Pelicans come with him. They start playing some music right there. But I'm telling you, I think overall it's the NBA draft tomorrow. We know Zion's going to be number one. R.J. Barrett, his godfather is Steve Nash. If you're thinking what anybody else is thinking right now, how dare you, and that's racist. But Steve Nash and R.J. Barrett, just what I meant by that is they're both Canadian. That's what I meant clearly by that. But R.J. Barrett and Steve Nash, his godfather, it is his real godfather, not like the World Wrestling Federation guy, the godfather.
Yeah, you're going to make him an offer.
I'm going to make him an offer to the other team if he doesn't play for the Suns. He's no longer my son. But he is he's going to be a son. Yeah, Phoenix Sun, dude. Yeah, he's going to be a son. But I think if he goes over there, it's going to be a pretty solid play. He said he can be elite, though. And Steve Nash was probably the most annoying elite player of all time. Would you say that? Meaning that because so many people hated Steve Nash because he couldn't guard it. He was a liability on defense a lot of times. And the way that he played was like a soccer player with the hair and but he was just lights out. I mean, he didn't miss wide open shots, and he was so smooth with the ball. But what angered people was how could this guy be an elite in a game where it's a bunch of freaks of nature who are 6'9", 6'10", and this guy who looks like you and I can be at the gym if we spent a week, I know you're going into ready for the fitness. Yeah, we're crushing it right here. I'm going to just eat sunflower seeds for the rest of my life. only like 100 calories in the bag. But we're going to go out there, and people, I think, get annoyed when they see somebody of that size being able to compete, and he still doesn't have the values. Like, he doesn't dunk it like a Russell Westbrook, or he can't.
Right.
So Steve Nash was one of those guys. A lot of people, I respected the heck out of him, but I could see where people, as an MVP of the league, think about the names that are the MVP. He was the MVP of the league.
Right.
Kevin Durant, LeBron James, Kawhi Leonard type people, James Harden, and Steve Nash. Think about that realm.
Laker fans get agitated with it because the Lakers just wasted money on him.
Well, that's true. Yeah.
And that was
there. He's not an LA guy.
No, definitely not.
No, not at all. No Canadian bank. When we come back, we're going to talk a little more about some of those stories, including Vanderbilt right now with a 6-3 lead in the bottom of the 8th inning.
Yeah.
We're going to get to more on some training day. That's right, for college football Q&A when we return. Test the mind of one Jordan Glass and some feel-good moments in sports. It's all coming back right here on this Wednesday edition of the Sports Drive.
He was a star quarterback at Pensacola High, played alongside Gator great Steve Spurrier, and rose up the ranks to become head coach of the Buffalo Bills. Now, he's talking football on ESPN Pensacola 945. Coach K brings football to life year-round. The teams, the players, and the front office. Talk football with Coach K every day at noon on your radio. And Coach K live on Facebook and YouTube at ESPN Pensacola 945.
Experienced truck drivers. Are you searching for a company that will let you pick the kind of driving job you want? At Schneider, professionals personalize their careers by choosing from 38 different types of driving positions. That means a better career to fit your lifestyle. If you want even more choice, Schneider drivers can also choose from over 50 unique dedicated accounts. Enjoy experienced driver pay, the respect you deserve, and choices that only Schneider can offer. Find out for yourself at SchneiderJobs.com. That's SchneiderJobs.com.
ESPN Pensacola 945 is accepting applications for employment. Periodically, we have openings in sales, business, news, promotions, engineering, production, and programming. We'll keep your application for consideration when such an opening occurs. We also provide internships to qualified students. Apply online at ESPNpensacola.com or at our studios at 7251 Plantation Road behind University Town Plaza on Davis Highway between 9 a.m. and 5 p.m. ADX Communications is an equal opportunity employer.
New Shell V-Power Nitro Plus Premium Gasoline is engineered with 4 levels of defense against gunk, wear, corrosion, and friction. It's sort of like having ninjas protect your engine. That helps keep your engine running like new. New Shell V-Power Nitro Plus Premium Gasoline. It's fuel for thought in engines that continuously use Shell V-Power Nitro Plus Premium Gasoline.
This week, we're kicking off the weekend a little early. It's time to let freedom rumble with the team at Harley-Davidson of Pensacola. Join the excitement Thursday night for a patriotic-themed bike night with live music from the Crosstown Band. The Hog Club firing up the grill with free burgers and dogs. The Harley's Angels serving up free drinks and sparklers for your kids. Thursday night at Harley-Davidson of Pensacola. It's the Let Freedom Rumble Bike Night. Harley-Davidson of Pensacola. Let's ride.
This summer, take the road trip to complete your baseball stadium bucket list.
And when you do, stay at La Quinta by Wyndham Hotels,
where you can now earn and redeem Wyndham Rewards points at La Quinta and thousands of other Wyndham Rewards properties worldwide.
Plus, free Bright Side breakfast and the free high-speed Wi-Fi so you can stay in the work zone while you're away.
Well, with perks like these, you're going, gone!
Tonight, La Quinta. Tomorrow, you triumph.
Book direct at LQ.com.
And welcome back. Sports Drive with you right here on ESPN Pensacola 94.5 and on Blab TV. Chad Brillante, Jordan Glass with you here. Coming up in about 8 minutes, we're going to talk with legendary Alabama coach Gene Stallings, who always was sharp on the sidelines. Never saw a pocket square. Never saw. No, I did not see
nice
that.
Some ties.
Yes.
Never pocket square. Yeah.
By the way, during the break, I Googled top 5 jobs for pocket squares,
Right.
and it came to a style for them. And it got into a conversation of like, is it acceptable to wear a pocket square for a job interview? I was thinking a square fold with white or pale pink. And the next guy is like, 99% of jobs, I think, would be okay with this, even if the job did not fit the description of a pocket square. And then about 2 down, this guy finally gets to the point where I think most of us were thinking. He says, seriously? This forum is a complete load of crap. What kind of person is going to say to himself during an interview, that guy is so pretentious because he sticks some silk or cotton in a breast pocket. We don't want that kind here. A suit is not complete without a handkerchief. Wear it. Blank, blank. But, I mean, at this point, this whole entire forum is a joke, and probably this segment as well. So let's move on here. We're looking at some of the other things going on. A couple rainouts yesterday, but the Vanderbilt Commodores keep a 6-3 lead right now in the top of the 9th inning. And it looks like they're going to be able to pull this one off. Never want to say never. Sorry, Vanderbilt's like, shut up, man, don't jinx. But their pitching has been lights out. That's one team that usually doesn't ruin games late. And they've got a 6-3 lead now. Mississippi State, good for comebacks, but we'll keep an eye and keep you posted with the scores today. A couple of the games getting moved back. Texas Tech and Florida State will be tonight at 6 o'clock. A lot of Seminole fans keeping an eye. We're going to be keeping an eye. Mike Martin hopefully can get the win. And then, thank you for that fake handkerchief pocket square, by the way. I think we needed that piece of paper, didn't we? Okay.
We can unfold it.
Speaking of what we learned from the day, by the way, Al Horford, loyalty tweet. You want to talk about freezing cold takes. It's actually a pretty cool site. If you're ever on Twitter, go to freezing cold takes. I like because it's pretty much people that just, Skip Bayless makes it a lot, but people that just write something like, man, Golden State is a team that everybody else deals with injury bugs. They keep everybody healthy, bro, like right before the playoffs or something like that. It's something that just completely comes back to backfire. And you're like, Urban Meyer runs a clean program, man. He's awesome.
Like saying Team USA scored 13 points.
Yeah. Bruce Jenner's always going to be just a man's man, something like that. But when it comes down to this one, Al Horford, the loyalty tweet, he said, this guy Forever Green, part of the Boston Associates right there, said at 33, Al Horford just declined $30 million player option so he could stay with the Celtics long term. You don't see that loyalty in the NBA too often. Whoo! Attaboy. 1 hour later, reports Al Horford wants out of Boston. So there you go. So sometimes you just got to. The NBA free agent, look, the agents actually have nothing to do with this. If you don't understand, now Phil Jackson didn't have to throw the word posse in there, but the truth of the matter is I talked to one of the guys who's a sports agent who I've stayed friends with out in Las Vegas. He works for one of the big companies, like what Rock does on the show Ballers. Hangs out with those cool cats. Probably has the 150-foot yacht with his team. But when it comes down to the actual negotiating today, it is like the entourage of the players. The players get together, and you got guys that'll kick up their Air Force Ones on a table at like a Denny's to meet. I mean, honestly, we love Denny's, but they're not going to be. It is not the old business around the table,
right? Where
it looks like some kind of courtesan session. Today, all of the agents and pretty much like that, they're pretty much like just little hey, we're going to pat you on the back. We're going to make some calls. We'll set everything up for you.
Right.
But the guys ultimately make the decisions. LeBron is talking to AD. AD and LeBron right now, you don't think for 2 seconds they're in the offseason trying to get banana boat rides and other things going on?
They had lunch with each other during the season. What do you think they were talking about? Yeah.
They're probably right now trying to get the next Cayman Island banana boat ride for July set up for fireworks with either Kyrie Irving or Kawhi Leonard or Kemba Walker. You know what I'm saying? They're the ones making the discussions to form these super teams. That's what's happening right now in the NBA. And that's how it's going to work. Do you think, cash it or smash it, though, it's a good or bad thing that we have super teams compared to consistency where if you went across the board right now, and let's say we have, 32 teams in the NBA? Or 30? Is it? I think 32.
I think it's
32. 32.
Yeah, it might be wrong. I don't know.
32 teams. Every league has 32 or 30, so it's 32. But 32 teams in the NBA, and if you took 32 best players in the NBA, and I think the tipping point of about 32 would probably be around like a Blake Griffin, wouldn't you say? LaMarcus Aldridge. You get to that point, DeMar DeRozan. That's where like the 32 zone is, right around there. You get those kind of guys. Those players, if you gave everybody a superstar and then you built around them with other good players, do you think it would make the league better or worse that we have about 5 or 6 teams that have a legit shot of competing with these super teams? I mean, obviously, if you live in one of those markets, you're like, hey, no. But if it comes down to what you feel about just a neutral outside look.
I think it's I wouldn't say it benefits the league, but I don't think it's bad for the league because it's entertaining. A lot of people are going to watch those games, and you got to think about it. When you have a let's say Kawhi does leave Toronto, goes to join AD and LeBron in LA as a Laker. Mm-hmm. Then what do you think is going to be the next time the Lakers play Golden State? It's going to be a massive matchup that everybody's going to be tuning into, especially if it happens to be like a Christmas Day matchup. Then that's going to make it even better. So yeah, I think it helps the league, but I don't think it helps the league, but I also don't think it hurts the league to have those super teams because we've seen this year. I mean, I wouldn't put Toronto in the class of a super team. They had Kawhi Leonard, but then they just had good key pieces around him to make a good basketball team, and they ended up winning the NBA championship. So I think that a team that's maybe not necessarily a super team can still win the NBA championship, even with these teams like Golden State or like the super teams that we're seeing.
Right now, locally, we've got the Pensacola Blue Wahoos off tonight, and then they'll return home tomorrow, 6:35, as we will have the call right here on ESPN Pensacola. Also in local news, Josh Sitton returning back. He's doing a lot for the community. It's always great to see Josh in town. As you know, if you think about Josh's accolades, he won a Super Bowl and things like that, but played for UCF. Looking at some of the things, just want to throw. I used to sit by him in class. We actually, it's funny though, because he went to school with my wife Brittany at Catholic. And then he went to school with me at UCF. And I'd never been to Pensacola before I met my wife at gallery night when we were 25. So it's funny how small the world is, though. And we meet, and Josh does a lot for the community. I still talk to Josh. He's just a class act. And his brother George and all the guys, he just got married, I know. But everything that Josh does for the community is pretty awesome. And doing the camps out there with Pensacola Catholic, and he's going to be doing a lot over the summer here locally. And good to see him back. He had some big injuries. He never was able to play for the Dolphins like the Dolphins would have liked. But look, nobody could protect some of those quarterbacks running like a chicken with their head cut off. So it wasn't going to change the dynamics of that team. At the same time, we wish him the best. And he got paid at one point. Remember, you got to judge a guy for the talent that they're capable of being.
Yeah.
Sean Kemp should not be judged for the drunk alcoholic that could not jump off the court. And instead of Rain Man, he was just raining $13.99 for a six-pack after work. Don't judge Sean Kemp by that. Judge Sean Kemp by the guy that was nasty dunking it out there in Seattle when he played for the Supersonics and was incredible. Because I watched him. It was very embarrassing. The last thing we want to see in sports, or really in life, think about it. Your grandfather was a war hero. Your dad was, a guy that owned a business. Nobody loves to see people of power, unless they're using the power for the wrong, just go down in flames.
Right.
Meaning that like a guy that was a mogul in real estate and then just loses it all and is homeless on the street. I mean, we hear about those Antoine Walker, Scottie Pippen stories, but you don't want to see a guy that was an icon living on the street or doing that. And those guys won't. But there's a lot of athletes and a lot of players that you look at their prime. Hakeem Olajuwon on the Toronto Raptors. Patrick Ewing with 15 knee braces on 2 knees. Watching some guys like nobody wants to remember Jerry Rice running routes in Seattle. Those are the kind of moments where you don't. So some retire on top. Peyton Manning got to drink that ice cold Budweiser, even though he didn't have a great Super Bowl. So sometimes it's different. But Josh Sitton, even though he got hurt, he retired his career at the top. He was already a Pro Bowler. He was good with the Bears. He was great with the Packers, as at one point an all-pro guard making the top 5 with names like Larry Allen and the big names of the game. So good to see a guy like Josh Sitton coming back and doing a lot. Kristen Dorsey, Golf Breeze's own, is a UWF women's golf coach. She played at Kansas State and taken over the team. Very nice lady, and she will be taking over. We'll try to get some interviews and get that rolling there. And Davis Allen, our very own here from ESPN Pensacola, you co-host with him with the Sports Call. He is Golf Breeze grad as well. His jersey's lying around here somewhere.
It's somewhere.
Did not make the cut over our Monster Jam flag right now, but and my LSU Cancer Bear.
Well, as a Navarre alum, I'm kind of okay with that.
We're not choosing sides. The only sides we're choosing are deflated footballs for the Patriots and Coach K. Stevenson's game balls when he won a championship. Let's go ahead and take a break because Coach Gene Stallings will be waiting in his pickup truck in Paris, Texas, getting ready for church. I guarantee it.
Baseball Tonight, the podcast.
Christian Yelich, he won the MVP last year, and I found myself this morning asking this question. Is the Christian Yelich trade, does that have a chance to go down in history alongside Frank Robinson and Lou Brock trades as one of the most one-sided deals in history? What do you think?
Well, a little early for that, but it's ridiculous how good he has been.
Baseball Tonight. Subscribe now on the ESPN app or Apple Podcasts.
Pensacola is loaded with famous athletes, and when it comes to seeing a chiropractor for their sports injuries, there is one team they trust, Doctors Edwin Roberts. A family tradition for 3 generations, Doctors Edwin Roberts Chiropractic, next to Legendary Fitness on Mobile Highway, has helped champion athletes like Emmett Smith and Trent Richardson. Doctors Roberts specialize in relieving auto accident pain to physicals for the student athlete. The best treatment for sports injuries is prevention. Call 912-4155 for a free consultation and change your life forever.
Sizzling summer savings are here at Bob Tyler Toyota with special low Bob Tyler prices on new 2019 Highlander LE, just $249 a month. New 2019 Tacoma Double Cab SR5, just $229 a month. Or the new 2019 Tundra Double Cab SR5 4.6-liter V8, just $289 a month. Check out over 10 acres of pre-owned inventory, including Toyota certified vehicles. Get to Bob Tyler Toyota while the savings are hot. The approved credit, 12,000-mile, 36-month leases, $49.99 cash or trade equity down, excludes tax tag, registration, title, 0 security deposit. All prices include $899.50 dealer fee. Dealer for details. Expires 8/31/18.
Business owners of Escambia and Santa Rosa counties, listen to this important message.
This is Jeffrey, the marketing consultant for ESPN, News Radio 92.3, and Talk Radio WEBY. I've helped hundreds and hundreds of people just like you increase their business traffic and drive revenue into their doors. My service works. I design creative, attention-getting commercials that get results. It works for them and will work for you. I know what you're thinking. No one listens to commercials, right? Well, you just did. Call me, Jeffrey, 262-6000.
Let's say you just bought a house. Bad news is, you're one step closer to becoming your parents, which means you're going to start telling your kids to clean up before the cleaning lady comes. Doesn't make sense, but you're the parent and they're the kids. You're going to start telling them that now, too. Good news is, it's easy to bundle home and auto through Progressive and save on your car insurance. And there's your opening to remind them who pays the bills around here. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company, affiliates, and other insurers. Discount not available in all states or situations.
He was a star quarterback at Pensacola High, played alongside Gator great Steve Spurrier, and rose up the ranks to become head coach of the Buffalo Bills. Now, he's talking football on ESPN Pensacola 94.5. Coach K brings football to life year-round. The teams, the players, and the front office. Talk football with Coach K every day at noon on your radio. And Coach K live on Facebook and YouTube at ESPN Pensacola 94.5.
And welcome back to the Sports Drive, ESPN Pensacola 94.5 and on Blab TV. Chad Brillante alongside Jordan Glass. And, I jinxed us. I guaranteed for 5 years, Gene Stallings has missed one time he has missed an interview, and that was because he had a stroke and actually had his wife, Ruth Ann, call that he was getting served pudding. No joke. I'll never forget this. He's like, well, Coach is in the middle of eating pudding right now. He doesn't like it. Like, you can see Coach, Gene Stallings, knocking the pudding. I don't need this guy. Come on now. I played for Bear Bryant. Don't be handing me this pudding. But apparently right now, on a more serious note, right now he said there is a tornado around Paris, Texas, that is pretty much the emergency. Not like hurricane where you need to get out.
Yeah, this was not a watch. This was a warning. Yeah. He was saying that they needed to have to take cover. Yeah.
Well, this is perfect time, not to be a meteorologist or anything,
that's where
I was going to say. and this is the next guy that joins us here, J.C. Wilson, lived in the Paris, Texas area, so he knows there's a few of them in the. So, J.C., they're dealing with that. You got any family back home or anybody dealing with that kind of stuff, or any friends, anybody you know?
Yeah, I've been getting alerts all day that there's all kinds of tornadoes and stuff out there today. So, the last couple of weeks it's been, they had the crane fall last Sunday there because there's a microburst out there. It's like 80 miles per hour wind last Sunday.
Well, I would love to make up something and say we brought you in here to talk about tornadoes. But one of the big things was, and we talk baseball. If people don't know, JC and I, we've worked together at the old ESPN and here for now going on, 5-6 years we've known each other? It's been a while. Yeah, it's been a while. And we're the kind of guys that actually do grab drinks. Psst, don't tell Jordan. But we grab drinks after work and well, hey, buddy, the mics are on. But JC and I have been friends as well as colleagues. And one of the things that, we when we hear something lingo to the area, because I find myself saying y'all, and I'm a Boston-looking fist pumper from Jersey Shore kind of guy. So when I saw Sod Poodle, today Amarillo Sod Poodles beat out the Blue Wahoos by 1% for the #1 stadium in AA baseball across the country. Now, a Sod Poodle, we looked up, and here's clearly the mascot. Looks like an armadillo. Mm-hmm. But would that be an armadillo for Amarillo, or is a Sod Poodle a nickname for armadillo? Because I'm just thinking it's a dog that likes to lay some turf or something like that. Is this Texas lingo?
Growing up in Texas I'm 42 years old, so I've been in Texas for about 30 years. I've never heard of Sod Poodle.
I've never seen that. Well, they're apparently the best. So
clearly they made this up. They made it up.
Hey, listen, if they've got that mascot running around, how do they have anybody in the stadium? That thing would scare the bejesus. I mean, Kazoo actually, kindly people want to take photos, even though he's a dragon/fish that's blue. You know what I'm saying? I don't know what's happening here. No. And that looks like an uncomfortable mascot outfit that somebody has to wear.
What farm system is this?
I want to say AA Midwest. I think AA Midwest League. I believe that.
So it's independent. It's not a major league. It's not part of the Twins or Reds or anything like that.
I didn't go that far.
The Padres, actually.
Padres.
Yeah.
Okay. But they won the #1 stadium by 1%. I know you guys do things a little bit larger out there, but by 1%, they beat out the Blue Wahoos.
There's nothing in West Texas. There's nothing in Amarillo.
So that's all they have. No, I mean, I get it. Jordan and I had a chance to call last year before, and in ESPN Pensacola 94.5 will be carrying high school football. We're excited for it this year, getting geared up for the season. But last year with Blab TV, before ESPN was around, we carried the games, and Jordan and I called a game, and Baker County, JC as well, JC James, we were all sitting here and calling the games, and I remember Baker County was watching. But the entire Baker County was watching. I mean, literally everybody and their grandma was watching because everybody had stopped. That's what they were doing, was watching their high school football team take on West Florida and Summerford's team, and that's everything it was. So apparently everybody in that city was freaking voting because that's how it worked. It wasn't – so everybody that stadium, if you're looking at the stadium and comparing it, it's not about that. They don't have cool ships that come in to the port and have – nice fireworks, and they might have fireworks, but I'm sure they have fireworks.
They don't have a crab macaroni and cheese hot dog.
Jason Pierre-Paul is now going to the game. But at the same time, you look at the stadium. It was about the voting. It came down to the end. It came about the voting. You can leave. It was a sod. I'm just playing. What's happening right now with your Texas Rangers? Are they going to be able to get one pitcher that you can clearly call an ace? Mike Minor is actually doing decent this year, but overall, it's been a little tough.
Well, they've actually started winning since I've been busy the last few weeks. They've actually started winning. So
there you go. Well, we just got the news, too. If you're just joining us and saying this is usually my Wednesday at 5:30 where you listen to Gene Stallings, this is Gene Stallings' biological son. He did not even know. J.C. Wilson joined now. But we joked, by the way, probably the worst, most disgraceful show in the history of Father's Day. A couple days ago on Father's Day, I can't believe I'm repeating this, but this is sort of the premise of the show. But a show like a Maury Povich where kids are grilling out with pops, and then all of a sudden it's like all heartwarming. They're playing like Pride music and all, and not that kind. But all of a sudden, Charlie Pride, yeah. And then all of a sudden, like a guy comes out like in The Bachelor with like a sheet and being like, "Pops, you want to come over here real quick?" And then, like, through the woods comes the real father of the kids after 30 years of these guys' life on Father's Day and being like, you're not their real father. And then, Papa, get out of my house. Get out of my... Like, the worst show in the history of the world. Would you watch? No, you would not watch. Okay. All right. We're losing range. All right. Well, that would probably be disgraceful. Looking at the things going on right now, with the game. Anchors down, by the way. Vanderbilt just taking care of Mississippi State. Texas Tech's still alive, though. The Red Raiders.
They beat FSU today?
And first off, don't come with that energy to this area. First off, that was that very positive. It wasn't like, did they beat FSU? Moose, are you in here, by the way? No, I think they actually play at 6 o'clock. Everything got pushed back a little because of yesterday, 2 games getting rained out, which brings us to the next conclusion. The next question here. You talk about Minute Maid Park, Safeco, multiple stadiums that have dome roofs. Don't be laughing. This is
I know where you're going.
All right,
so,
okay.
Yeah,
well, you know exactly. This took up way too much of the show yesterday. But when it comes down to it, there has been 9 games over the last 2 years rained out at Rosenblatt in Omaha. Look, Gene Stallings couldn't join us because there's a tornado coming right now. So there's a lot of storms in the Midwest. Do you think playing the game, and I know if you're just going to go down, not you, but if people are just like, well, it's history and tradition and passion, and that's where it is in Rosenblatt, people get steaks in Omaha. Okay, then we're never going to, you're just hitting the same exact punching bag, beating this dead horse over and over and over. But I'm talking about for the future, if you were starting fresh, would it be a right call to have the College World Series in a dome stadium and just make sure one of those teams that has a dome just is on the road for a couple weeks during the course of the College World Series in baseball?
Yeah.
So games don't get rained out and pushed back and waste our time. This is a very selfish reason for this, but I'm just saying, I wanted to watch baseball last night, got nothing besides watching the Red Sox, and they won.
One of the points that Greg Litton brought up with that is you take a stadium that's 15,000 people that's packed for a College World Stadium or College World Series, you put that in Minute Maid Park, it's going to look empty. So let's just do it in Tropicana Field. It already looks empty.
Doesn't Vanderbilt look like they're going with that's more of a 70s attire outfit though?
Like the old Pirates
like the old
uniform?
Pirates, yeah. They should go with the old like the old conductors looking hats that the Pirates wore right there.
That's the biggest story right now is the Vanderbilt Whistler, the guy that's sitting up in the stands whistling.
That guy got arrested. Oh no, different guy. Okay, never mind. I was gonna say. Okay, so, sorry, that was I knew him in college, but I know what you're talking about. The Vanderbilt Whistler, yeah, that was. He's a pretty good guy. When we come back, JC, if you would like to stay in and you would like to, we're going to have some fun here today. We're going to get to training day, college football Q&A on some of the biggest questions around the league. It's all coming back right here on the Sports Drive.
All right, it's time for some straight talk. You wouldn't pay $100 for seats to a baseball game where you can get the same seats for $50. So why pay more on your wireless when you can get the same 4G LTE networks for up to half the cost? For $45 a month, get our unlimited plan with 25 gigs of high-speed data from Straight Talk Wireless. No contract, only at Walmart.
Savings may vary. See terms and conditions at straighttalk.com.
Sports Call with Jordan Glass.
A guy like Kyler Murray, great athlete, yes. We talked about it before, great athlete, got a lot of talent. Because of his size, I just see that being something that hurts him inside the NFL.
Then Davis Allen.
It's so much harder to be successful in the NFL, but is it beneficial for you in the long run?
Every Saturday morning on ESPN Pensacola 94.5.
All right, it's time for some straight talk. You wouldn't pay $100 for seats to a baseball game where you can get the same seats for $50. So why pay more on your wireless when you can get the same 4G LTE networks for up to half the cost? For $45 a month, get our unlimited plan with 25 gigs of high-speed data from Straight Talk Wireless. No contract, only at Walmart.
Savings may vary. See terms and conditions at straighttalk.com.
There's a lot going on right now, and broadcasters are on the ground covering all of it, bringing you the weather, the traffic, and breaking news, all while entertaining you 24 hours a day. Someone needs to tell you what's going on around the world and in our hometowns, and that someone is us. We are free radio. We are always there.
We are broadcasters, your home for Pensacola sports, ESPN Pensacola 94.5.
ESPN Pensacola has you covered from the national and local levels. From Golick and Wingo to the Sports Drive, the Paul Feinbaum Show to Talk Football with Coach K, we have it all. It's the latest and best in sports talk radio, making us Pensacola's hometown sports network. ESPN Pensacola 94.5, also on HD Radio at HD2 98.7 WICT, and streaming online at our website at ESPNpensacola.com.
The year was 1919. Barbasol shaving cream was invented by a dreamer named Frank Shields. The world's first modern shave cream, Barbasol changed the face of shaving forever.
A few billion shaves later, Frank's dream lives on. Behind every face is a dream. Barbasol proudly salutes every fearless, self-assured, wide-eyed dreamer all across America. Celebrating 100 years. Barbasol.
You see the guy coming down the aisle right now. WWE's going to be down here for SummerSlam, but the guy waving and like high-fiving people coming down. What was the old guy that used to do that? Owen Hart sort of had that. I was watching that pay-per-view when he passed. Remember the Owen Hart situation? Do you remember? Is this before he fell from the top of the rafters on the Jumbotron?
I might have just
during the pay-per-view,
yeah.
And obviously passed. But it was. I remember watching that, but he was one of those guys, wore the spandex and would walk up the, going on a complete different path here. But that's sort of how the show works. Looking at some of the other things today, Pensacola Blue Wahoos lost 51 to 49%. That equals 100, folks, for best AA ballpark in the country.
Right.
They lost to the Amarillo Sod Poodles, which we brought a true Texas native in here, a Texan in J.C. Wilson, and he said that it was, the Sod Poodles he never heard of. So apparently it's they're just going, but the same, I guess you could say in their defense, not that I want to take that, what's a blue wahoo? You know what I'm saying? Like
it's a fish.
No. Stop. I know what a wahoo is. We catch wahoo. I used to do fishing tournaments, great wahoo fishing off the coast of the Bahamas with my dad and fishing. Just crack open a couple cold ones. But when it comes down to what type of fish, I don't think there's a blue wahoo. I don't think there is a red snapper. So, and we know what a poodle is.
Right.
So it's just an added word to. Don't know what the hell a sod poodle is, but looking at the things going on right now, Mike Conley is headed to the Utah Jazz for a bunch of guys that look like they should play for Utah, and Grayson Allen and Kyle Korver. And then looking at some of the other things, Brett Favre's Instagram was hacked. He is not going to be coming back. He is fine hanging out, playing dodgeball with kids. Have you ever seen that video, by the way? This wasn't like the stage one for the deodorant commercial about throwing against Randy Johnson, the big unit.
This is the one he was actually playing.
He actually played in.
Like the high school that he
played out there.
Yeah.
I would not take on Brett Favre. I mean, that's maybe like an arm strength of like Chad Pennington, but I would not take on Brett Favre in any kind of sport where he's throwing anything at you. Looking at or taking photos and sending it to people, but looking at what's going on, Matthew Stafford. Speaking of quarterbacks.
By the way, apparently this is a sod poodle in real life, so it's like a gopher type thing. So we were way off with the armadillo.
So Google has told us that it looks like a prairie dog.
Yeah, that's kind of essentially the same thing. Yeah, it's like a cross between a gopher, and a prairie dog.
That's clearly a prairie dog, I think. But no, I mean that's what.
And the mascot looks like Sandy from SpongeBob.
Okay, no, see that's a kind mascot.
Yeah,
he looks pretty nice. He looks like a mixture. It looks like if a Chippendale on roids. You know what I'm saying? With the cowboy hat.
Yeah.
Okay. Looking at the QB though, in Matthew Stafford. He's had an up and down career. Where would you judge Matthew Stafford's career right now? Above average, below, right in the middle, elite? Where do you put Matthew Stafford? With 32 teams in the NFL, to me, I think he's always in that range between 10 and 15. I don't think he's cracked the top 10.
He's middle. Yeah, it's right.
But that's
there.
fair. I mean, when you start reeling off quarterbacks, when people don't get when you say like, oh, your quarterback's 18th or 19th in the NFL.
Right.
That's very good because there's only a couple teams with pretty much hobos at quarterback. Every single team has somebody. Think about it. Quickly, you get rid of Tom Brady, Drew Brees, and this isn't in order, but Tom Brady, Drew Brees, Patrick Mahomes, Russell Wilson's, Big Ben's, guys like that. You've cleared out 5. Aaron Rodgers, obviously, Matt Ryan. those guys are already, and then you got your Jared Goffs and Carson Wentz's and a couple guys that are always in the mix for MVP type candidates. So we're already at 10. Then at that point you get the Baker Mayfields. Is he going to jump into that mix? Could Derek Carr come back? He's at the lower end right now, but he had a season where he was almost top 10. Then you got guys out there that are like Marcus Mariota's that have good seasons, but then I would say he's now below the top. If 16's the cutoff, Mariota's probably 20, 21 right now. But there's a lot of guys to be in the top 10 to 16 range where Stafford is. I put him in that same range right now. And I think this is fair to say. Matthew Stafford, to me, is in that zone of like the Kirk Cousins, Mitch Trubisky, Cam Newton, and Cam Newton at one point was an MVP, but right now Cam Newton, not 100% healthy type Cam Newton. Just saying, if you look in that mix, that's where I think you're talking about Matthew Stafford.
Right. Yeah.
But last year, he played the last 5 games of the regular season with his team already out of the playoffs with a broken back and a broken heart.
Yeah.
But a broken back. I mean, but man, that's pretty bad. I've got lower back pain from days of doing some those bodybuilding content against. I had a fake Dominican ID. It was against. I was 30 and I was going up against 7-year-olds. But at the same time, I did hurt my back. Actually, never will return. After I worked a summer in construction, and we were laying some rebar for an Ashley Homes Furniture. So punishment, I got a chance to work construction concrete in Central Florida. Oh, it was brutal. And 17 years old. And I remember there was a wheelbarrow, and it was falling through one of the graded areas, and I pulled it, yanked it back. And it was and I tried to yank, and my back just went out on me. And it never has been the same. But once in a while, I'll wake up, and, the back hurts. Take a couple Advil, like Nolan Ryan in those commercials, and you move on.
You just wake up, you're like, the wheelbarrow.
Yeah, there are days where it's brutal. Matthew Stafford played through 5 games last year with a lower back injury, having 330-pound guys, Fred Robbins size, coming at you full speed and ready to just take you out. And the team, here's the better part, though, of this story. His team was already out of it. But that's where you draw the conclusion. Is that a heroic story or stupid? Because you are the future franchise that's getting paid, what, $20 million a season, $25 million a season? Do you want to play 5 games when you're already out of the postseason with a broken back, or should you wait and get healthy?
Yeah, see, here's my thing. I get being competitive. As a professional athlete, I get you want to be competitive. You want to go play with your teammates. But if your back is broken and you're out of the playoffs, don't continue to play. Rest. Get healthy. And if Matt Patricia and the coaching staff and the medical staff for the Detroit Lions knew, they still let him go out there and play, shame on them too. I mean, this is a stupid move, not a heroic move. I know there's people out there that go, well, he's the leader of the team. He wanted to lead by example. Okay, well, what happens if he hurts that even further? He has to retire because of that. Then the leader of the team is completely gone for good.
Dan Orlowski is retired, so they don't have a great backup option, obviously. But, it's Detroit is in the purgatory of the NFL.
Yeah,
they are. Your Dolphins have been there. There are a few teams that are stuck, and they can't get out. There are some teams, like even the Jags, where one year they go out there, they're one Gilmore pass away from going to the Super Bowl. And then the next year they're bumps. But the same thing is they either have awful years, which were a lot, or they've had great years.
Yeah.
Some teams you just know are going to be in the vicinity of 7-9 to 9-7, and maybe if lucky, 10-6, and maybe at worst 5-11. And that's pretty much been Miami and Detroit over the last decade and a half. Since Barry Sanders and since Dan Marino, that has been pretty much it. Now, there's not too many teams like that. I mean, you think about the NFL. Denver's had their runs. San Francisco had their runs, and then they were bad. Arizona had a couple good years, and then they were really bad. Seattle right now is having a good time. Before they weren't that good. Dallas has been there, but Dallas is more, hey, we're 11-5, 12-4. We just stink when it comes to the playoffs. They're not really 9-9, not 8-8. They just have had a couple years where it hasn't worked out. So you think about it, those two teams, I can't think of anyone else that has lived that area, that has lived in that. Baltimore had their time. Houston has had a couple good seasons.
Yep.
When their defense can stay healthy up front. Those are the only two I can think of that have just stayed right there in that middle, and they can't break free. No matter what they do, no matter how many guys they pick up, a Megatron will retire or somebody will leave, and they just stay in that realm. It's been that way forever, and I don't think it's going to change anytime soon. Looking at some of the things going on right now in the world of sports, Cole Hamels. Now, Cole Hamels yesterday was on the mound. They lost in the Windy City Showdown right there to the Chicago White Sox. Eloy Jimenez, the prospect that everybody wanted, comes in and hits a 2-run blast over the Ivy in a 3-1 win. And Cole Hamels set a record, though. He is now in the top 10 in strikeouts with 2,500 from all left-handed pitchers. He's in there with Randy Johnson and Tom Glavine and Warren Spahn. That's a little surprising because there's some guys that they're always pretty consistent. It's like Jack Morris. Jack Morris just got in the Hall of Fame. But Jack Morris never had a season outside of the one game that he pitched in heroic fashion to beat the Braves. People talk about the Herback and the pulling off the base of Gant. But when it comes down to a guy like Cole Hamels, he's never been like the ace. Even in Philadelphia, he was really good. But he's never been the caliber of looked at as Clayton Kershaw, but he's never been a guy that's dropped off. So Cole Hamels has been pretty much consistent, and he is now in the top 10. Also, a good guy, by the way. If you did not know, his wife and him donated a house, an entire mansion to Missouri for children with special needs. And that's pretty incredible. You need some write-offs sometimes when it comes to, if you have a lot of money, but not an $8.7 million mansion. That's just called kindness and a great heart. Good to see. We're coming back for more in the Sports Drive.
This is Pensacola's hometown all-sports station and home of the Blue Wahoos, ESPN Pensacola 945. Catch all the Wahoos games home and away all season, plus all the latest Wahoos news from Chad Brilliante on the Sports Drive, 5 till game time weeknights. And hey, if your business would like to partner with us as an advertiser or with a local sports promotion, then give us a call at 850-262-6000 or shoot us an email from the advertise page on ESPNpensacola.com.
Business owners of Escambia and Santa Rosa counties, listen to this important message.
This is Jeffrey, the marketing consultant for ESPN, News Radio 92.3, and Talk Radio WEBY. I've helped hundreds and hundreds of people just like you increase their business traffic and drive revenue into their doors. My service works. I design creative, attention-getting commercials that get results. It works for them and will work for you. I know what you're thinking. No one listens to commercials, right? Well, you just did. Call me, Jeffrey, 262-6000.
He was a star quarterback at Pensacola High, played alongside Gator great Steve Spurrier, and rose up the ranks to become head coach of the Buffalo Bills. Now, he's talking football on ESPN Pensacola 945. Coach K brings football to life year-round. The teams, the players, and the front office. Talk football with Coach K every day at noon on your radio. And Coach K live on Facebook and YouTube at ESPN Pensacola 945.
There's a lot going on right now, and broadcasters are on the ground covering all of it, bringing you the weather, the traffic, and breaking news, all while entertaining you 24 hours a day. Someone needs to tell you what's going on around the world and in our hometowns, and that someone is us. We are free radio. We are always there.
We are broadcasters, your home for Pensacola sports, ESPN Pensacola 94.5.
ESPN Pensacola has you covered from the national and local levels. From Golic and Wingo to the Sports Drive, the Paul Feinbaum Show to talk football with Coach K, we have it all. It's the latest and best in sports talk radio, making us Pensacola's hometown sports network. ESPN Pensacola 94.5, also on HD Radio at HD2 98.7 WYCT, and streaming online at our website at ESPNpensacola.com.
Gannon looking, throws up the middle. At the 40, Derek Brooks 30, Brooks to the 29, 20. All the way, touchdown Tampa Bay. Derek Brooks, the dagger's in. We're going to win the Super Bowl.
Another Watson is wearing a green jacket, and this time his name is Bubba.
Pitch on the way. Russell drives one in the air. Deep left center. That's back near the wall. It's got a chance. Grand slam. Grand slam, Addison Russell.
The new WBA heavyweight champion of the world, Roy Jones Jr.
And Richardson breaks free on the sideline. End zone. How about that?
Bama scores on a 34-yard touchdown run by the Doak Walker Award winner, Trent Richardson, who broke a lot of Emmett Smith's records back in Pensacola, Florida.
And these them Louisiana, Pensacola guys, they looking crazy and all that.
Morris, blocked by the tight end Paul. That opens up the door. Breaking the Cambridge tackle. To the pylon. Touchdown.
Really nice effort there by Alfred Morris, extending that ball over the goal line.
Near side ball is that big game. Doug Baldwin's got a first down. And Doug Baldwin, 93 yards, now has back-to-back 1,000-yard seasons.
Reggie Evans, and he's going to get an ovation. Guy from Pensacola, Florida.
And welcome into the Sports Drive right here, ESPN Pensacola 94.5 and on Blab TV. Second hour of the program goes now. Thanks for joining us as always. A lot to get to on today's show. Right now, Vanderbilt getting a win just about 20 minutes ago over Mississippi State 6-3. So they have now punched their ticket for the winner's bracket right there at 2-0 with Michigan. You have Mississippi State, who has not been eliminated, but with the loss now falls back to 1-1. Tonight, Florida State will look to have a chance to survive. An opportunity to go up there against a team where Texas Tech fought back and played a good game and ended up winning in their first-round game. And now we have a chance to match up two 1-1 squads that are going to look to try to survive out here in Omaha. And looking at Mike Martin in this story, joining me as always, Jordan Glass, friend and colleague here, and co-host. Jordan, I think this is going to be a very tough game. Texas Tech's going to have a lot of fans out there. I know a lot of Florida State, a lot of folks from Tallahassee, from Destin, from Pensacola that have made the trip out there because knowing this is the last time to watch Mike Martin. And frankly, you don't know what you're going to get when you have a guy that good at recruiting, that good. Greg Linton said yesterday, Greg has hung out with Coach Martin a number of times. I'm not going to sit here and say that he's one of the best of all time in-game coaches. But what Mike Martin is somebody that has built a program where established players like Buster Posey's and J.D. Drews and guys throughout the year that are top-level five-star kind of athletes want to go to Florida State. We don't know if that's going to be the case when he leaves. And look what happened to football. And I'm not saying that it's going to stay that way because Florida State still has the prestige in football. But right now, regardless of what fans think, they're not. They weren't even in the top 100 last year. So when you look at a team like Florida State, right now a lot of people know that this is his chance. This is his chance to go out there and get it done. And it all gets going now at 6:50. The game got pushed back because of Vanderbilt's late game. And remember the rain delays yesterday. They had to continue to play. So I'm hoping that they can get the win here tonight.
Yeah, and it's coming up to hopefully get started here in just a few minutes. And got it on the game here when it gets started.
Are you sure? I think it's got pushed back because, remember, they only have one venue. The game just ended, so they clear the field. I think start time, first pitch, if you're wondering if you've been keeping track, it said 6:50 last time we checked.
Okay.
So we've got a little bit of time.
Bottom of the hour. Yeah. And look, I think Mike Martin and this team has a great opportunity here in front of them. Like you said, they've got to win tonight because obviously the loss a couple of nights ago to Michigan really hurt them, so they've got to get it done today against Texas Tech. And, it almost at this point, and I can't believe I'm even saying this as somebody who's a diehard Florida fan, when I step outside of the studio, I find myself watching them and cheering for them, and I almost would hate to see them lose to Texas Tech tonight because of the great story of Mike Martin. And you want to see him go out on top. You want to see him be able to hoist that trophy up as they carry him off the field one last time.
Yeah, and that game tonight, 6:50, both 1-1 in this game in double elimination. So they got to win or go home. Earlier today, as we talked about, the Auburn Tigers are headed home. The game was suspended yesterday, down 4-1, came out today, and defensively they just couldn't figure it out, Jordan. It was a tough one right there, and you've got the victory for Louisville, and it looks like, so that's where we stand right there after Auburn, a tough loss today to Louisville.
Yeah, and it's almost like, I know we joke around a lot, but there are some times when you watch that Auburn defense play, it needs some Benny Hill music behind it because it's just the way. I mean, earlier today there's a ground ball. It's a routine ground ball up the middle. Shortstop could have gotten to it. Second baseman could have gotten to it. Somehow it finds a way to roll literally underneath both of them as they dive for it and goes into the outfield. And Louisville was able to take advantage of that. We all know about the overthrow. Now there was obviously some circumstances there that may have led to it. Maybe he was having to wait for the first baseman to get over there. But still, you're a college baseball player at that level in the SEC playing in the College World Series. Clean up the defense a little bit. I think that's going to be a big thing that Auburn needs to work on in the offseason. Work on that defense.
And right now, the Auburn Tigers, a team that at one point unranked during the course of the season, to go out there and make the run they did. Still an incredible run. Both them and their basketball team, Tiger fans should be pretty excited for what they were able to accomplish where they were expected to be. Auburn was expected to probably be a tournament team in an 8-9 game and get beat in the first round if you look at basketball. And if you look at a team in baseball, they weren't really supposed to be in the baseball tournament. Maybe super regional, if lucky, but definitely not to be at this point. So they've overachieved, and they're just counting the days where Gus Malzahn gets the same out of them since the days of Nick Marshall.
Well, we talked to Pat Dye last week on the show, and he even said that they were lucky to be in the Super Regional and that they do not belong in Omaha as a baseball team. So, it was kind of one of those things, like you said, they performed a little bit higher and a little bit better than what people expected, and they just got to hoping that transitions over to the gridiron, because if it doesn't, you could have a tough year. But if Bo Nix is their starting quarterback, they're going to have a guy that really is going to be able to sling the ball around, and if that's the type of offense they're going to, which is what they looked like against Purdue in the bowl game, that could be a great thing for Auburn Tiger fans.
Looking at some of the other things we talked about here today, we've kept an eye on a couple different games going on. And looking right now, though, at the NBA draft, we've talked a little bit about the NBA draft. Zion Williamson will be the number 1 overall pick and going to New Orleans. If you're the New Orleans Pelicans, though, at the number 4 pick, remember they got the 4th pick in the draft, too, now, after what happened there with the situation from the pick with L.A. So now they have the number 4 pick, too. And I think that this is a situation where they can take advantage of it and go out there and take 2 big picks, or do you trade at number 4 for the potential of a guy like a Bradley Beal?
That's a great question. I mean, I think you could get a guy like Bradley Beal in there, or you could get a young guy with a great draft pick right there, number 4. And I think they're probably going to go draft with this. I really do. I think they're probably just going to draft somebody young that they can build a team around. The 2 guys they're going to get at the number 1 pick with what we all think to be Zion, and then whoever it is they bring in at 4.
And we'll keep an eye on the NBA draft, which will be tomorrow night. That's when the Wahoos will get in action, too, as they'll return home after a 3-day break after the All-Star break and enjoying their time right there. Some of the other things going on right now, we talked a little bit about it, but, the situation with Mike Conley going to Utah, does that make him a contender in your mind now that Mike Conley, a point guard, legit at one point All-Star, has been traded to a team that was very close, a couple players away? Now, he's not the elite of the elite, but Mike Conley is a very solid player. He's in that Kyle Lowry kind of range. Where do you make this out? And was this a big move for Utah?
It makes them better, but I don't think it makes them a contender, because now all of a sudden you're starting to see Anthony Davis go to L.A. with LeBron. If they get another key piece, I mean, if they bring in Kawhi, you got to think that makes the Lakers a player. You've still got Golden State is going to be Golden State inside the West. So I think for Utah it makes them better, but a contender, I don't know. I'd have to see it happen and see it play out in my own eyes, much like we have with Milwaukee with the Bucks and like we did with Toronto this year. I have to see it happen first.
And right now, I think that there's a lot of teams. Golden State, we don't know the future, if they're going to stay healthy, what's going to go on there. We do know at this point that you have a couple teams, including a team that a lot of us have looked at in L.A., with Anthony Davis and LeBron now that are probably going to add another weapon.
Yeah,
I don't think they're done.
They're looking to make max cap room here. With they're trying to find $32 million somehow, so they're moving pieces around. They're even looking into restructuring the Anthony Davis deal that they have. So, they're making moves to bring in another big free agency. They're not going to deal with the draft this year. I think anything that we see from the Lakers this summer is going to be them bringing in big-name players that have already proven that they can be successful and big-name stars inside the NBA.
And what we talked about earlier, too, with the Blue Wahoos and their stadium, Wahoos lost 51% to 49% to the Amarillo Sod Poodles for the best minor league AA stadium, according to Ballpark Digest. 1% right there. Look, Texas does things a little bit bigger, but still, 1% is 1%, and it was all the voting. So, look, everybody in Amarillo, we had JC in here earlier, everybody in Amarillo had nothing better to do but just to vote on that one. Pensacola, we got stuff going on. I voted. Yeah. We posted it. We helped vote. I saw Jonathan today, but at the same time, that's one of those kind of things where that's pretty big. Also, Pensacola sports baseball and softball all-star games are going on currently right now at UWF. So if you're looking for something to do, some great venues today. Those are always great. Pensacola sports does great with the Subway High School series right there with all of it. Yeah. And the baseball and softball games going on right now for the high school kids. And got some great athletes. Maybe future Argos for some of the top teams in the nation.
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, it has nothing to do with the games, but anytime I hear about those and I hear that Subway's present, it makes me just want to go get Subway. It really does.
I haven't eaten fresh in a while.
You go get Subway, and then you go enjoy the game at Jim Spooner Field, and then at the UWF softball complex. Yeah.
Someday, the deals, they got great deals, but I don't know about the overall. I don't know. No, I mean, I'm just saying, there's so many great sub places out there. Subway's good, but I would put it.
Fun fact, while we're on the topic of substations, I know we like to joke around about
you and
Jim
Jared used to. Oh no,
don't even go there. I was going to say, I know we like to joke around about Jim McElwain on the Shark and all, but fun fact, that was actually the owner of Jimmy John's on the Shark as well.
That's right. He was on there as well. Yes. Yeah. Both of them have been fraudulently convicted of doing things to an animal. Yeah,
they do look very similar.
By the way, Kristen Dorsey, we talked about this earlier. Congratulations, the new head coach of the UWF women's golf team.
Absolutely.
Yes, she is from Gulf Breeze. She played at Kansas State, and somebody that is going to add some energy. It is their 5th golf coach, and I think that she's definitely going to bring a lot of energy, and somebody that is definitely, she has, in from what I've seen in the interviews and the things that she's done, because we haven't seen her yet be the coach, so I'm not going to sit here and just tell you a bunch of things that I'm not sure about yet, but she seems like she has the energy and the enthusiasm that you would need.
Yeah.
And it's not hard to get a bunch of people to come here with the tradition, what Coach Clark had, what Brian had before, and also what Coach Fell has going on right now for men's golf. Sometimes it gets overlooked when you have so many great sports. Sometimes sports that aren't on the mainstream when it comes to bringing in the revenue get overlooked on things. But the golf teams have been top-notch. And this is not a job that was picked up because they've been so horrible.
Right.
This has been one where it's a great opportunity, and having people wasn't too long ago. Paloma Pocaro was one of the best in the nation. So you've got some of the best golfers out there, and the Argos with Kristen Dorsey have a great chance. And I know Brian Henry does a lot with the women's golf team, sports information director, and does so much every single day over there at UWF. But good to see another great piece to what is, in my opinion, the best coaching staff in all the Gulf South and probably in the country.
That's what I was going to say is the nucleus, the group that they have built there in the entire athletic department, whether it's Coach Shinnick or any of the other great coaches there at UWF. It's a tight-knit group, and they all, they talk to each other, they support each other, and that's great to see, and this is just another great addition for them.
Absolutely. Yeah. When we come back, we're going to talk a little more about some of the big things happening here locally, right here on the Sports Drive.
Look, pitchers throw a changeup.
Your idea of a different look is sunglasses.
That's true. But La Quinta Inns and Suites is really taking the different look thing to a new level.
Definitely a major league makeover, starting with a bolder, brighter lobby full of comfortable spaces to let you settle in.
Or chill out in front of a big flat screen like Wingo would.
Oh, you know it. It's a changing La Quinta look to help you get in the zone and look sharp when you hit that big meeting.
Prepare to win at business with La Quinta Inns and Suites.
Book now at LQ.com.
Sizzling
Thrilling summer savings are here at Bob Tyler Toyota with special low Bob Tyler prices on new 2019 RAV4 LE for just $219 a month. New 2019 Camry LE just $179 a month. Or the new 2019 Corolla LE just $134 a month. Bob Tyler has over 10 acres and $4 million worth of pre-owned inventory, including Toyota certified vehicles. Get to Bob Tyler Toyota while the savings are hot. The approved credit, 12,000 mile, 36-month leases, $49.99 cash or trade equity down, excludes tax tag registration, title, 0 security deposit. All prices include $899.50 dealer fees. Dealer for details expires 8/31/19.
To protect her home and family in a disaster, Karen was willing to wade through water, mud, and insurance paperwork.
Yeah, I can do this.
You go, Karen! By simply understanding and updating what her insurance covers and doesn't cover now, she'll be better prepared no matter when disaster strikes. Learn other simple ways to protect your home and family before a natural disaster at ready.gov. That's ready.gov. A message from FEMA and the Ad Council.
Pensacola is loaded with famous athletes, and when it comes to seeing a chiropractor for their sports injuries, there is one team they trust, Doctors Edwin Roberts. A family tradition for 3 generations, Doctors Edwin Roberts Chiropractic, next to Legendary Fitness on Mobile Highway, has helped champion athletes like Emmett Smith and Trent Richardson. Doctors Roberts specialize in relieving auto accident pain to physicals for the student athlete. The best treatment for sports injuries is prevention. Call 912-4155 for a free consultation and change your life forever.
Okay, here are 3 important reasons why your son or daughter should play a sport in high school.
Number 1.
High school sports teach valuable life lessons like self-discipline and time management skills.
2.
Teens who play a high school sport have better grade point averages.
And number 3.
High school sports are safer than ever before.
This message presented by the Florida High School Athletic Association and the Florida Interscholastic Athletic Administrators Association.
It's almost time for Sertoma's 4th of July celebration in downtown Pensacola. Watch Old Seville Square come alive this 4th of July with free activities starting at 11 a.m., including a children's area with inflatables, rock climbing wall, pony rides, face painting, live entertainment, food, and much more. Don't forget the amazing fireworks show over Pensacola Bay at 9. Sponsored by Skanska with a perfectly synchronized music broadcast on Cat Country 98.7. Presented by the Law Office of J.J. Talbot. For more info, visit PensacolaFireworks.com.
And welcome back. Sports Drive with you right here, ESPN Pensacola 94.5. Earlier today, the Cincinnati Reds got a 3-2 victory over the Houston Astros. It was 2-1 with a runner on second and 2 outs against Osuna. And if you know Roberto Osuna's background story, dealing with some of the things that he has and some of the things he's done off the field, some people root against him. He was involved in a domestic abuse case, and they got let back into the league. But it's 2-1, and Nick Senzel steps in, former Wahoo, gets a base hit, ties it 2-2. And then former Wahoo Jesse Winker steps in and gets a base hit and gets the victory 3-2. So some of the big names from former Pensacola Blue Wahoo's team, so you could tell had the talent. Nick Senzel was there a very short period of time and is going to be a power hitter in the league for a while. But I'm telling you, it's good to see the Wahoos making an impact and helping a Reds team that just went in there and swept the number 1 team in baseball right now in the Houston Astros.
No, you're absolutely right. It's really nice to see these guys that we saw here in Pensacola. We saw them develop and turn into the major league stars that they're showing that they are.
Looking at college football, we are counting down now. It's not going to be too far away now, about 2 months, just outside 2 months away from the Florida Gators and Miami Hurricanes, who will be battling it out right there in Orlando. So it looks like at this point you have a situation where that game's going to be exciting. I don't think it's going to be the difference in who goes to a college football bowl game in the college football playoff for the playoff. But Florida has a shot. Florida has a legit shot, but remember, there's only going to be one spot really reserved for somebody out of the East, if that. We know that at this point. Last year they made one of the New Year's Eve 6 games and had a chance to play there at the Peach Bowl that you were at. But I think that it's going to be one of those that both teams are proving in different ways, but both teams have to prove to each other that their quarterbacks can carry them.
Yeah, they do. They do. And I think right now you've got a little bit more resume for Felipe Franks to kind of say that, there's a case that he could carry this team and they could have a really good year behind him, because we really don't know anything about Tate Martell. If he is the starting quarterback for Miami, we don't know what we're going to get from him, because we didn't even really see much of him at Ohio State before he transferred. So we're going to see that first game for him. I don't know if that's necessarily going to be a good show of what he could do at Miami, going up against the Todd Grantham defense, so you better believe, it's going to be his first action in college football that's meaningful, other than coming in and maybe a 62-3 type ball game for Ohio State, playing a couple of snaps in the fourth quarter. This is actually going to be meaningful. It's going to be first quarter tied 0-0. You better believe Todd Grantham's going to have that defense pinning their ears back and coming after him, putting him under pressure all afternoon long. So I think right now you've got to lean towards Felipe Franks over Tate Martell, and it's because of A, the resume, and just B, we know more of what we can expect from Felipe Franks than what we can from Tate Martell, and I think that's why a lot of people have Florida picked. I think a lot of people, when the line comes out for this game, I think it's going to be a really close line. It's probably going to be, I would probably say it's going to be less than 10 in favor of Florida. It's going to be a close game in my book, is what most people are going to expect, but they're going to lean towards Florida because of, we know that they're established. We know Dan Mullen has this team moving in the right direction. We don't know what we're going to get from Manny Diaz in Miami.
Yeah, it's going to be, and Manny Diaz will have them prepared, but will they be able to compete at a level of a Florida Gator team that proved that they were good enough? Look, Felipe Franks is going to make some mistakes, but their team overall, it was good enough to be one of the top teams in the nation. And they're going to be preseason top 10, where Miami is just trying to prove everybody that they can be top 25. Looking at some of the other things going on, we talked a little bit about Brett Favre. He had his Instagram hacked, by the way, so he will not be returning, and that's pretty much obvious at this point. He's 49 years old. He's not returning. There was somebody like, man, 2020 season, Brett Favre's coming back. That is not happening.
Unless he's coming back as a coach. It's not happening.
Why would he stay? First off, if you're going to hack somebody's account, do 2019 first. Why would he? He's getting older. Why would he sit out the extra year? Like the account hacked him. It was like, it maybe noticeable that he'd play this season in the 2019 year, but to say 2020, the guy's going to wait, let Father Time hit another year. Come on, dude. If you're going to hack somebody, go all out. Don't hold back. Send Jen Sturger. Oh, that wasn't a hack. Looking at some of the other things going on right now from the world of college baseball, we've got about 10 minutes. Actually, at this point, it looks like about a half hour from the first pitch with Florida State taking on Texas Tech. Game got pushed back because of a late start right there. Vanderbilt and Mississippi State. Vanderbilt with a 6-3 win earlier today, and that's where we stand now with 6 teams. We are down to 6. Auburn and Arkansas have been eliminated, so we're down to 6. Vanderbilt is now sitting with Michigan as the only team at 2-0. And then you have a couple teams like Mississippi State and Louisville sitting at 1-1. After tonight, we'll be down to 5 as Florida State and Texas Tech both 1-1. So somebody will be eliminated in the College Baseball World Series. I like Florida State to win tonight, though. I think
I do too. Look, Texas Tech is a team that relies on the home run ball. They're heavy hitters. That is a big stadium they're playing in. The ball does not fly well. We've seen a couple of home runs today, though, but the ball does usually not fly well in that stadium. So I'm going to go with Florida State in this game.
Yeah. Hopefully Florida
Small
State
ball gets it done.
Yeah. Hopefully get that first win in the College World Series for Mike Martin. It looks like there's some reports going on with Big Papi.
Yeah, there's some interesting news coming out. Apparently, he was not the target of the murder plot. He was just happened to be sitting at the table. That's the reports now.
That's the story?
Yeah, that is the reports coming from the Dominican Republic, and it looks like it is actually coming from the Attorney General from the country down there, the Dominican Republic. And
making sure we don't know there's chaos at all in the Dominican Republic.
They're
so
saying
that's
that
the story.
He wasn't the target, that it was actually his friend who was sitting at the table with him who was the target. So
good to know right there. Yeah.
That's interesting. Yeah.
We'll just leave it at that. Yeah. I mean, is there anything to the story that is this like Sean Miller?
The last line of the story, it is still unclear why Fernandez was targeted. So it's like, no, he wasn't the guy. That was the guy. We don't know why it was the guy, but he's the guy.
So Big Papi, this is almost, to me,
I mean, we had reasons as to why Big Papi was the target.
Yes, and I'm sticking. I'm not buying this right here. But this is just, they don't want it to be a bad look to the Dominican Republic. Yeah. But I'm not going to touch this story too much just because there are still people out there that could be listening, and I'm just going to leave it alone. But I think overall it's I'm not buying that too much. If anything, the story that is out now and reported would be saying that somebody that Big Papi hangs out with is targeted because of something horrible. So that's what they're saying. It's like Big Papi decides to sit at local bars with people that had horrible elephants in their closet and wanted people to go and attempt to kill them.
Yep.
I'd hope I would know somebody that I'm hanging out with when we had our tailgate zone at Cool Carts or something. Like somebody we knew would be down there that if there was like an assassination plot towards them. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't think that's happening. So this is...
Six-Toe David Fernandez was the guy's name that is apparently the target.
Six-Toe David Fernandez.
Six-Toe, Sixto David Fernandez, yeah.
Okay. Well, it's solved, everybody. Case dismissed. Sherlock Holmes is on the case. When we come back, we're going to talk a little more college football. We'll get to training day Q&As, and we'll also get to more on some local news. The Blue Wahoos will return home tomorrow to start their second half of the season in the Southern League as they finished the first half 38-32 and looking to have a good start here, get a couple guys back from the injury. They needed that after having 2 or 3 players hurt. They really needed a little time off, and that's what they're going to get when they return home. Coming back for more right here in the Sports Drive.
ESPN Pensacola has you covered from the national and local levels. From Golick and Wingo to the Sports Drive, the Paul Feinbaum Show to talk football with Coach K, we have it all. It's the latest and best in sports talk radio, making us Pensacola's hometown sports network. ESPN Pensacola 945, also on HD Radio at HD2 98.7 WYCT, and streaming online at our website at ESPNpensacola.com.
At Denny's, you can get 2 eggs, 2 pancakes, 3 pieces of sausage, and 3 pieces of bacon, all for $5.99. Now, before you say, wow, that's a lot of meat, know that this dish has its fan base right there in the name. This is for people who really love meat, the super meat lovers. So if you're a super meat lover who likes the idea of getting all the meat you love at a super low price, then the $5.99 Meat Lovers Slam is for you. See you at Denny's. Price and participation may vary. Limited time only, no substitutions.
Getting knocked down on the football field makes you tough, but getting back up makes you tougher. At Goodyear, we call that determination. A willingness to put in more hours, more reps, and more heart to reach a bar that's sky high. Because the Goodyear blimp doesn't show up for just anybody. So don't be just anybody. Be blimp-worthy. Goodyear, more driven.
MWR welcomes Hunter Hayes to NAS Pensacola for the Air Force Reserve's Tour for the Troops, Friday, June 21st. Also appearing Brandon Ratcliffe and Jesse Ritter opening the show. Gates at 5:30. The show starts at 6:30 on the Portside Lawn at NAS Pensacola. Bring your lawn chairs and blankets. The show is free, but tickets are required. For ticket information, go to catcountry987.com. Presented by Kia Autosport, Pin Air Federal Credit Union, and MWR.
Hear ye, hear ye. I bringeth thee a message from... a message from the king and his new trumpeter, Stephen. The king wishes me to convey his favor to thine team and thine tailgate. Not yet. He invites thee to let the Bud Light flow forth. And he also wishes me to tell thee that he toasts thee. Waiteth until the end, Stephen. With game day's favorite light lager and the slogan of his kingdom... Oh, dilly dilly.
Enjoy responsibly. Bud Light Beer, AB, St. Louis, Missouri.
Hi, I'm Danica Patrick. Watching my nieces grow, play, and learn is amazing, but not every child gets to be carefree. 1 in 6 kids in the U.S. are hungry. This breaks my heart, and it's something that Feeding America is working to change. Each year, the Feeding America network of food banks rescues billions of pounds of good food that would have gone to waste and gives it to families in need. To help, visit feedingamerica.org.
Brought to you by Feeding America and the Ad Council.
Welcome back to the Sports Drive, ESPN Pensacola 94.5 and on Blab TV. You know, I was thinking during the break, I was like, man, I'm eating all these seeds, a little salty here. It's got some bacon spices to it. And then getting thirsty over here. And I'm like, gosh, I wonder, thirsty as heck, wants water. You've got a literal jug over there. You know, one of the miniature Culligan. Like, was that brought by a gnome?
Yeah.
It's a whole Culligan thing. I didn't know they sold those, by the way.
Do
they have machines for those too?
There's
like a growler. Is it sort of like a growler?
It's kind of like a growler. Yeah, I never really noticed that it actually looks like those bottles.
It's the same
before,
exact thing that Culligan drops off at your house, or Kentwood, or one of those. Yeah, exact same thing right there. And you're drinking out of it. You were drinking out of a literal tub of water.
I got this from a health food store, like a nutrition place over on 9th Avenue.
Mm-hmm.
So
that's a big technique of health food. Just you can drink water.
Yeah,
they serve water.
Yeah,
there you go. That's one.
I have gnomes come and fill it up, and they deliver it to me every night. You know, it's there in the morning.
Actually, I mean, probably the biggest thing that is overlooked, because we'll go out and spend hundreds, sometimes thousands, on dietary supplements and training exercises and workout regimes, but the biggest thing most people don't do is drink enough water. Mm-hmm. I sound like my mom right now, so I'm getting off this whole stick, but it really is. Not drinking enough water, it keeps you dehydrated, tired. It keeps you hungry. You're not full as much, and it's also good to drink a lot of water for your body. So we're moving on here. Looking at some of the things going on, you can weigh in at 850-972-1945 is the number. 850-972-1945 is that number. Well, looking at college football as we count down, not too far away from the start of the season. We're less than, right around 2 months from a chance to watch that first game as Miami and Florida will take the field. It is actually 65 days at this point. 65 days until toe meets leather in that matchup. And should be exciting as two teams that we cover, two teams from the state, even though we're really more in the South, in the vicinity of Alabama/Florida. But when it comes down to Miami, still a lot of fans in this area, and should be a good one to kick off the season. A lot of energy there with Tate Martell and the new look. And also, same thing with the situation if you look at a quarterback in Felipe Franks, who has gone from good to trying to take his game to not making the mistakes. We know Felipe Franks is an athlete. We know that he can do things well. But what we don't know is, can he not screw things up? That's going to be the big case with a guy like Felipe Franks. He makes horrible decisions sometimes, and in college football, where if you lose one game, your season could be over, you cannot do that against good teams, especially in the SEC. That's going to be the biggest question.
And I think for him, the saving grace for him when people bring that point up is his last 4 games of the year, where he went 12 touchdowns, no interceptions. So he averaged 3 touchdown passes a game, completely cut out the interceptions and the boneheaded plays that he was making. And I think you started to see him take that next step with Dan Mullen as his coach. So I'm actually very interested and very curious to see what Felipe Franks looks like in this game against Miami.
Jordan, one of the big questions for me with a guy like Felipe Franks is, and Florida in general, because I grew up in a Florida Gator household, went to games with my dad, and Florida was what Alabama is right now. I mean, what they felt is, hey, if we lose a game, crap. It was national title or bust. National title or bust. But it was like when Felipe Franks was doing okay, he was getting attaboys. Like, all right, champ, way to go. Where destroying a bad Florida State team last year, is not proven. What he did against Michigan was something, but Michigan always finds a way to drop off the face of the earth late. However, that was impressive. I'm not going to say anything negative about what he did to Michigan. That was a great performance. It was a bowl game, but it was a great performance. When he goes out, I think all the fans of Florida, same thing with Penn States of the world, same thing with Texas of the world. There are a few elite program names, Tennessees of the world, and Tennessee hasn't even been close to the other ones we've talked about. But a lot of these teams, they're waiting for the opportunity to say, man, our guy had a great game and beat one of the elite teams.
Yeah.
When they can do that, when Florida can beat an Alabama or an LSU, well, they have beat LSU, but I mean, like, consistently beat Georgia, or the Penn State's beat Ohio State's consistently, or Texas beats Oklahoma consistently, and gets all the way to the college football playoff, and then they can say, you know what, they stepped up in the biggest moment to win these games. That's when they're not just going to get the attaboys for beating teams they should beat, what they're favored over. That's going to be one of the keys.
I think And I completely agree with you on that, and they've got to do that. And I think this season gives them plenty of opportunities to do that. Starting off the year against Miami, while that is a team that they probably should beat, I still think that can give them a little bit of confidence. Then they have to go into Baton Rouge and beat LSU. LSU is going to be better than they were a year ago. Then they go play Georgia and Jacksonville. So they've got opportunities to actually take that step and have that happen for them. But I think the big thing with Felipe Franks really is the mentality of him. Inside his head, between his ears, it changed after the Missouri game when his own fans were booing him off the field, were chastising him on social media. Just look at what happened in that South Carolina game. South Carolina came out and jumped out to a big lead, but partly because of the leadership and the toughness that he displayed in that game against South Carolina. Again, a team Florida should have beat, but because of that he demonstrated, and even shushing his own crowd after he would make plays, that showed a different side of Felipe Franks that Florida fans had not seen lately, and I think that's kind of where Florida fans are looking at Felipe Franks and going, you know what, this guy actually may be the guy that can get us back to where we're used to being.
850-972-1945 is the number, 1945. Let's go to our phone lines now, and Jeff is on the line. Jeff, good evening.
I know that, I'm going to be a homer when I say this, but, that's the great part about being a sports fan for me and not, and stuff. I'm going to go with Jameis Winston 1. I know it's Tom Brady, but I don't care. And I'm going to go with Nick Foles 2, which might hold up a little bit, but still probably not even top 15. And I'm going to go with the Miami quarterback top 3. And it can sound kind of mean. I'm going to go Tom Brady number 32, even though he'd won 5 Super Bowls. He's probably great, even though I don't think he is. And stuff. And really want to say, I think the Florida-Miami game could end up being a 3-point game. I think it's going to come down to a field goal and stuff. And I'm not going to pick who's going to win yet because I want to wait until, the Friday before and stuff. And I want to say, not bad with the Marlins pitcher last night. First time in history that had a starter go 2-0. And, it's hard to win in the Yankee Stadium. I mean, really, if you think about it, the last team to really kick their butt with the Red Sox last year when Chris Sale went out and, they beat them 19-0 and, kicked a special team to do it. And I think, tonight the Marlins win again. And I'm going to say the Jacksonville Jumbo Shrimp, a pretty cool organization. I know it's an organization you don't like, Chad, and I understand that. I think Trevor Richard get 15K tonight and go 7 innings. Thank you, guys. Have a good night.
Well, let me just address the jumbo shrimp thing. You're just jealous because you have a shellfish allergy.
That's right.
Yeah,
that's
all it is.
Like, I like Jacksonville jumbo shrimp. I think they were the Suns, and they clearly need to be the jumbo shrimp. But
I do think it was a little bit of an improvement there with the mascot. From the Suns to the Jumbo Shrimp.
It's just the feel. Look, I mean, the Blue Wahoos today for #1 Stadium got beat up by the Sod Poodles. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's and I think the other team was something like the Rubber Duckies, and the other one was the Yard Goats.
Look, so
it's
many minor
all.
League teams
I mean,
that you have
yeah.
teams like that. Yeah.
Well, that's what I mean. Think about it. In college football, it's either Bulldogs or Tigers, pretty much, and then you got a bunch of you got 3 Tigers,
a couple of Wildcats. Yeah,
you got 2 Bulldogs and 3 Tigers in the SEC, correct? So 5 of the 14 teams in the SEC are Tigers or Bulldogs. You got Missouri, Auburn, and LSU as Tigers,
right?
And then Georgia and Mississippi State as Bulldogs. Is there any other? I mean, I think that's it. But
yeah, that's it.
I mean, but still, Yale doesn't play.
And I mean, technically, if you just want to go with just dogs in general, I mean, Texas A&M, while they're Aggies, their mascot is
We're
Rebel,
pushing it now. Rocky, yeah, Smokey. By the way, did you know how Smokey? Quick Q&A for everybody out there listening. Here's some water cooler talk for tomorrow. Do you know how the mascot, Smokey the mascot, came to be about?
Josh Gordon showed up. No, sorry. No, I don't actually.
He is a blue tick hound dog.
Okay.
And blue tick coon hound dog.
Okay.
But he it was. I'm going to give you some multiple choice then. Here it is. He was the original 80s pet at Tennessee. Volunteers were sick of standing around not getting paid to be mascots. Just people like human beings. Like, what's happening here? I'm not. What can I help a charity or something?
We need a mascot this year.
I volunteer. Yeah, I volunteer. It's the state dog of Tennessee.
Okay.
Or in a halftime contest.
Ooh. I want to say it's either A or C. I'm gonna go with. Because not many states have state dogs or state animals outside of a bird. Most states have state birds, but like dogs and stuff. I don't really think.
I don't know if anybody has a state dog.
Yeah, I'm going to go with the athletic director's the first athletic director's pet.
Halftime contest, 1953.
Really?
Yeah, 1953 halftime contest right there. Yeah, they decided. That's how they decided things back in the day. It was just like you bring your pet down to bring your pet to work day kind of thing. It was like, all right, here we go. There he is. There's that blue tick coon hound dog right there.
All right.
Smokey.
We got the blue tick hound dog over here. We got a goldfish over here. We got a basset hound. We got a bulldog. We got a cat.
And this guy that has been here for days still volunteering. Why am I here, man? I'm not getting paid for this.
And a turtle. All right, guys, which one's it going to be? Biggest roar gets it.
Yeah, I like Smokey though.
Yeah.
There's some mascots I'm not a big fan of. I like Smokey. I don't like how most of the dogs are heavily sedated. They have to be. They have to be because they will bite people.
Yeah.
But I pet Ugga on the sidelines, and I like Ugga too. But personal encounter down there in Orlando where he was. It was Michigan State versus Georgia in the bowl game. And I remember sitting down there, I was scratching Ugga's belly, but that dog was, it was out cold. His eyes were open, but like you could tell he was on some, he was seeing purple dragons. He was not, scratching his belly and stuff. But those dogs, I guess they have to be that way since that guy in Auburn on the sidelines. But, there's a lot of animals. Bevo clearly wasn't sedated when he was at the
Ugga doesn't remember that. He was
he ticked off right there. He was what's for dinner when you talk about beef. But I'm telling you, it's there's some mascots. My favorite probably would have to be Ralphie, though. Ralphie the Buffalo.
Yeah.
Just because he does not care that he's a mascot. He just is like, get me
people.
out of this cage, and just runs wild.
Yeah.
He's looking to get out and escape, and he just goes crazy.
It's not really like an animal, but the horses that pull the wagon for Oklahoma, those are nice. Those are nice.
In the
Sooner Schooner or whatever.
Sooner
it's called.
Schooner, yeah. I don't know if they're. That doesn't really.
Yeah, I'm just trying to think. Mike the Tiger is the best. The fact that they set him in a cage right next to the visitors' tunnel, you can't beat.
I like
that.
Al and everything going on. You got the mascots for Albert and Big Al for Alabama, but I would love to see. I don't know if it's straight legal or even legal in Tuscaloosa, but
an elephant,
an
actual elephant.
I think they deserve it. If anybody, and Nick Saban would not do this, but
Yeah.
if anybody has earned the accolades to ride into a stadium on an elephant, it would probably be Nick Saban.
Yeah, and I would say Florida's the same with maybe having a gator there inside the swamp. But
Did you see the gator today that was out in the streets of Charleston?
I did. And the one that got into the swimming pool and was attacking the woman. Yeah. But really for Florida,
be one of the worst nightmares ever because most people that are sitting around a pool are sunbathing.
And
you know what I'm saying? They're just like relaxing. You
Yeah.
close your eyes, and if you heard like teeth, and look over, there's a live gator. Oh,
this thing, it was at night, and it was like her and her husband were on their honeymoon, and they decided to go up for a dip. And
all right.
And it just beelines into the water straight for her, and
they're venturing into territories that are owned by the predators. I'm just saying.
They're going to Nashville?
That's. But what I'm saying is, it's like that surfing video that we show, on the Brilliante Observations. But if you're going to be surfing at night, it was cool. He had a glow light out there. He was surfing on the board. But you're not only surfing when all the fish come in to feed and the sharks come to feed. On top of it, now you have a light. On top of it for everybody to be like, okay, if he wasn't already dinner.
That's like the hot lights when you go to Golden Corral. The hot light that hangs over the food. That's exactly what that is.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Might as well just cover yourself in blood and meat and jump out there on the board. But, it was one of those kind of things where it was halftime. That's how Smokey, the Tennessee mascot, came to be about. That's pretty cool.
Yeah. It's fun trivia.
There you go. Some more Q&A here as we get set for why not? It's college football, 64 days out. Which one of these is an outfit that the Penn State Nittany Lions wore before they went to their traditional black and white uniforms? Are you ready?
Yes.
One of these color patterns was Penn State back in the day, because we can always remember them for, the old, it's a dark navy blue and white, correct?
Right.
It's
about the color of the ice flyer or ice pilot jersey behind.
Just want to make sure to get the color right. I know they're uniforms, but that's what it is. From a distance, it looks black and white, but it's bright, dark navy blue and white. But the Nittany Lions, was it gold and green, blue and orange, white and maroon, or black and pink?
You know what? I'm going to say Penn State kind of sounds like maybe they used to be kind of on the same level as like an Ivy school or a prestigious school like that. Most of those schools have maroon in their color schemes. I'm going to go with maroon and white.
It was black and pink.
Really?
Yeah. That was the original. I don't even know that people used to wear pink things back in the day. You know what I'm saying? Like, pink is not one of those colors where you look at old. You never see like a World War II Lieutenant Colonel Stephen Philbin, and all of a sudden he's got this like pink outfit
pink
on. Yeah, no, there's pink pocket square. But no, that's not. It was black and pink. That's really there's. Did you know? As we continue this, technically, there's one team since 2000 that is not on the books as national champions. And I'm going to start this by saying this is not a UCF joke or leading into this, even though it makes sense. But there's one team since 2000 that technically is not in the books as a champion. Think about some pretty terrible teams that maybe got suspensions. And Ole Miss has not won a championship.
Is it USC?
It is USC. Okay. 2005, after playing in the Orange Bowl, it was all that stuff is a load of baloney to me.
Yeah.
My old coach from Minnesota would say it's a bunch of hooey.
Yeah.
That is, and then he'd say you better play better offense, B. But when it comes down to Penn State, black and pink, surprising. That one, yeah. But I don't buy into that. When people they talked about the old Free Shoes University or Bobby Bowden was going to have a few, or the days of Joe Pa getting those taken away for what happened, which is actually a serious thing. But none of that, to me, look, when Reggie Bush lost, quote, the Heisman when he won it, it's not like we deem Vince Young the trophy.
Yeah, because when you first started talking about that, my mind originally wasn't there like a situation between like Auburn and Virginia Tech in like 2003 or something like that, or am I completely remembering that wrong? But there was something involving Auburn and Virginia Tech, and I was kind of thinking along that lines. But then when you started talking about a team that sucks now but used to be good, that's been in some trouble, USC.
That Urban Meyer's getting fake letters sent to his house, according to Zach Smith.
Yeah, I'm telling you, man.
The funny part about
that's just
that,
Sark having a good fun.
Well, with Zach Smith, and we're feeding the dragon here, but at the feeding the beast that is Zach Smith saying this, but like. There's nobody else is really running with this story, and why not? I mean, look, in today where everything on the internet and every reporter is just trying to be truthful. Journalism is trying to be as fine as it's ever been. Always. And but nobody's picking up this. If you didn't see the story yesterday, Zach Smith came out and said that he knows somebody in the U.S. Postal Service, and then he said, "I'm about to drop a bomb on you." You don't say that with the Postal Service. It's not cool. But he said that. A guy told him that multiple letters have been sent to Urban Meyer's home and to USC back and forth about just USC. It doesn't say to be the next football coach, but USC and Urban Meyer have exchanged letters. First up, this isn't the 15, and Paul Revere came riding in on a horse, by the way. Like, this is not something where we have to date back in the history of our declaration here.
Yeah.
Whereas Urban Meyer sat at his desk with a feather pen. Like, none of this. Couldn't they just text if this guy really wanted? Get the athletic director and him be like, hey, I'll meet you at 6. If someone's infiltrating their phones, be like, which people are. I want tacos for dinner. When I leave here, there's going to be like 50 taco places up. But when it comes down to a guy like Urban Meyer, he could just text if they wanted that.
Right.
And they could have met for dinner in Beverly Hills or somewhere where nobody's going to watch them because there's a million stars. But if you're somebody that wants to hide, go to Beverly Hills because you can hide in plain sight because they're not looking for Urban Meyer there. They're trying to get a picture with Tom Cruise, fighting somebody like Justin Bieber on the street. It's like that. They're not worried about Urban Meyer.
Maverick all the way on that one.
Chip Kelly. You think Chip Kelly goes to dinner in Los Angeles and people are like, oh my gosh, I think that was. Oh
I think after his
goodness.
years with the 49ers, Chip Kelly lays low in the entire state of California.
There's Jack Nicholson. Oh, that's Will Smith and Chip Kelly. And no, that doesn't.
Chip Kelly's just driving through Jack in the Box like this.
Yeah, like, exactly.
No, not me.
After that record last year. But, I think that's pretty ridiculous. I'm just, does it make sense that would be the next school? If you had to pinpoint a school that makes sense that Urban Meyer would go to, USC makes perfect sense because you got the resources, you got the history, you've got the recruiting, you've also got an area where you can start fresh. Think about it. You went from Utah to Florida to Columbus, and everything, between the Columbus and Gainesville situation, there was times where it wasn't good. Now you go to the West Coast and everything's gravy again. However, that is based on nothing but it makes sense. That's like seeing a pretty girl at the bar and saying, it makes sense for you to be a model. Yeah. You're like, well, I am, but that wasn't the point, son. Right. But, it gets to a point where it makes sense, but it doesn't have to add up that way. And Zach Smith, first off, is a former ex-wife beater who should not be held to a credible standard.
No,
I don't think he's
agree.
the guy that people are going to.
I definitely agree. And while we're talking about this, I got a package delivery earlier, and the guy at FedEx told me that Auburn's going to fire Gus Malzahn and hire Les Miles away from Kansas. So,
his name was Roll Tide Pete, but
exactly.
But no, they don't want to see Gus go. I don't think. Yeah, I was going to say. I don't think the Alabama fans want to see him go. But and not to say he's bad, but I'm just saying if Auburn could get a coach that's better, there are better coaches out there.
Yeah,
Urban Meyer. He's not going to Auburn,
they owe a boatload of money to Gus Malzahn, so that buyout would be incredible for them, and honestly, they can't afford it. So
let's start Irving Myers. Irving Myers from Corinne Brown. Irving Myers to Auburn, War Eagle. Let's just get a War Eagle chant. There's enough. Look, I know a good guy that can put things on. Have him out there. Have him on top of the back, flying around the stadium.
We're going back to Zion in the Pelican suit.
That better happen tomorrow. Yeah. Just no Pepto-Bismol suit to start the game. When we come back, we're going to talk a little NBA draft. We'll get to more on Q&A from college football right there with 64 days until toe meets leather. It's all coming back right here on ESPN Pensacola 94.5 Blab TV. It is the Sports Drive on this Wednesday.
We are live outside the home of Joe and Rosie Goddard, where a pretty big tickle fight broke out just minutes ago. Sources say their father instigated the laughter. Let's go inside for a comment. Apparently, they have no comment. Dads, let this be a reminder that it only takes a moment to make a moment. Call 877-4DAD-411 or visit fatherhood.gov. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services and the Ad Council.
Hello, sports fans. Miles Bentley here, General Manager at Hill Kelly Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram in Pensacola. Growing up, I always loved sports. Nothing but net, out of the park, through the uprights. Sink the puck Bentley, that was me. But my love of the game couldn't beat my love for Pensacola and helping folks get on the road of dreams in a new Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram. Sure, I never went to the big leagues in sport, but we're all pro here at Hill Kelly Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram. Proud to be in Pensacola.
ESPN Radio is taking over ESPN News. You can now watch your favorite radio shows all in one place. From Golick and Wingo. Oh, yeah. To the Dan Le Batard Show with Stugotz.
All right, I'm available every day, thanks.
To the Stephen A. Smith Show.
I just don't understand this guy.
To the Will Kane Show.
It's my job to tell the truth.
From morning to night, the best of ESPN Radio is now available on ESPN News.
When working at a growing business, you wear many hats. The new business hat, the buying toner for the copy machine hat, the sifting through tons of resumes hat. You can throw away that last hat thanks to Indeed.com. When posting your job, Indeed lets you add screener questions that give you a less time-consuming route to your short list of qualified candidates. So go ahead, dust off that extra long lunch hat. Hiring's better when you've got your short list. Save time on hiring when you post a job on Indeed. Get started today at Indeed.com/hire.
ESPN Pensacola 94.5 is locally owned by the ADX Communications Group. That includes News Radio 92.3 and AM 1620, Cat Country 98.7 and 1330 WEBY 99.1 FM. This means that we have the staff, the experience, and the generators to get you through the storm before, during, and after. We care, and we're ready because we're local. ESPN Pensacola 94.5.
So I'm having this debate with a landlord.
I said, no pets. Can't rent you the apartment.
My dog is not a pet. Look, I'm legally blind. I need my guide dog.
Sorry, those are the rules.
Rules that allow for housing discrimination? So I made a call to HUD. Turns out, landlords must make reasonable accommodations for assistance animals.
If you think you've been discriminated against, call HUD at 1-800-669-9777 or go to HUD.gov/fair housing.
Fair housing is your right. Use it.
A public service message from HUD in partnership with the National Fair Housing Alliance.
Cinema.
Welcome back. Sports Drive with you here. Final segment. Thanks for joining us here. 6:56 on this Wednesday evening. I hope everything's okay right there in Texas. With Gene Stallings was supposed to come on at 5:30, and Gene has done interviews from everywhere. But there was a tornado in the area in his town, and he said he could not do the interview. He actually picked up the phone, Jordan. I know he talked to you briefly, but
you know, I could definitely tell something wasn't right the minute he answered it, because normally, first of all, I called him, and usually when you call him the first time, there's an answer right away. But I had to call him again because there was no answer. So he picked up the phone, and before I could even kind of get out my normal spiel of saying, "Hey, coach, are you ready to go on the show?" He was like, "Listen, I need you to listen to me. This is urgent. Listen up." And
Jeez.
For a minute, I felt like I was on the sideline with him. I was like, "Coach, all right, coach, what's the play?" But then he was like, "Nope, there's a tornado bearing down on us right now. We got to take cover, so I can't be on the show today. I'll talk to you next week." He was like, "All right, coach, you guys get to a safe place." And,
so bad.
Yeah, so hopefully everybody's okay there.
Yeah, and look, and Coach Stallings is one of those kind of guys, too. He's got a whole ranch out there with animals and barns and, his family. And look, he's 85. He's almost 85 now, and his wife, Ruth Ann, they're not going to be able to it's not like they're going to be running back and forth. I mean, he's an 85-year-old man, so he's still tough. But remember, he's had a heart attack and 2 strokes over the last couple of years. So, man, I
do apologize for smirking if anybody saw that while we're talking about this.
Nobody saw that.
I was trying to find some information on, seeing if maybe we could find some information on what's going on. And I was going through some Paris, Texas headlines here, and one of them is dog hijacks Texas police cruiser eats cops beef jerky. So
I would have smirked too.
Yeah,
I thought it was a pocket square thing, but no, it was. That's pretty bad. So thoughts and prayers go out there,
Absolutely.
and he's one of the best, and look forward to him. Maybe we'll talk to him here tomorrow on the show as well. Which one of these, as we end today's show, little Q&A. Which one of these teams has never been in a college football playoff? I'm going to go through some rounds here. You tell me which one. We'll do some matching. Getting everybody's skill ready. This is like a training day to get ready 64 days out. Every day we're going to train your brain here. Oregon, Notre Dame, Michigan State, or LSU? Which team has never made a college football playoff?
LSU.
Correct. Ohio State, Florida, Georgia, or Washington?
Florida.
Oklahoma, Auburn, Michigan, or Florida State?
Michigan.
3 for 3, buddy.
Yep.
Congratulations right there. You pass. You get your own seats right here. You can have the rest of them. Hey, Jordan, appreciate it.
Yeah, man, it's been fun.
All right, for all of us here, I'm Chad Brilliante for Jordan Glass. Have a great rest of your night, and God bless.
This is Pensacola's hometown all-sports station and home of the Blue Wahoos, ESPN Pensacola 94.5. Catch all the Wahoos games home and away all season, plus all the latest Wahoos news from Chad Brilliante on the Sports Drive, 5 till game time weeknights. And hey, if your business would like to partner with us as an advertiser or with a local sports promotion, then give us a call at 850-262-6000 or shoot us an email from the advertise page on ESPN